kind of somber, and
I can give you reasons it's somber.
well, that's a different story
Yeah,
entirely.
that's totally
That's a different story
sorry.
entirely.
A
But
lot going on around the world, and with this kid still missing, allegedly still missing. Missing may possibly just be that he's unidentified. So we've been going through a bunch of things and setting up the live streams, trying to determine if we're going to cover it or not. But it's been going around so much, and then the prep for the storm and things going on in the US. There was another situation going on in the US. There was, and I don't have all the details, we're never up to date, but want to say from the beginning for all those lovers and haters that this is a conversation, this is a topic, this is a discussion, a lot of alleged, possible, and seems to be these days you have to let people know. You would think they would actually know that that's what this is. It's basically talk, okay? Here lately it's been called speculations from, and we're not talking about one channel. Several have said that everything that's being talked about these days is just a bunch of speculations. And we ought to actually just call ourselves Speculations Philippines or something, just
well,
off. But it just means that what we're saying is what by going by newspapers, talking to people, and we've
but
always made it clear that it's about
for
discussing.
the most part, most of our speculations here, I mean, not to pat ourselves in the back, are usually somewhat closer to the truth.
Yeah, like the Cebu one we waited for. We were supposed to cover Armstrong today, but I told George, truth is, I don't have the strength, man. Right
Yeah.
now, he's putting out videos on a daily basis, and so is she. I think we'll kind of wait like the Cebu thing. We want to put stuff out there, and it's not like a race or anything. But even as of this morning on Elliot Eastman, there was even more stuff. And I just seen two or three videos from big vloggers yesterday that state that they're still blaming the
Oh, well,
they're blaming the what's it called? I don't want to say it, but there's another uh,
Muslim radical group.
right. So and right now they do have two people of interest. Also, GMA has released additional photos, and so we've confirmed. And now that George is back from his family outing, he wanted to go through some of this, and we had footage where they possibly found a white male in the water, and we had a full discussion. And a lot of the things that were being brought up about this white male was, oh, he didn't have a beard. He was clean shaven, not enough hair. That's a Filipino. Look at his size. And it was kind of like all the way around. And it was really a good live stream that we actually covered, guys. And well, it was me. I'm talking about like everybody that joined the live, but that he was wearing black shorts, according to the wife. We didn't see any newspapers. In his last 13 live streams, like the day that he went missing, they said it was 9 in the paper, but there are 13 of them. He was wearing black shorts, so it was obvious in there that he was. Um, but that was during the day. Maybe those were his boxers at night. Maybe when he got injured in his leg, and then maybe he was so scared that he might have crapped himself. We discussed so many different possibilities, and we've been sitting there talking to other people about it, and that maybe it was just sopped with, you know, where he had been injured and stuff. But so much going on. But yeah, we'll get into that. So, oh, and then also the FBI is not involved. I want to make that clear. It's been said several times. They were just there to question. That doesn't mean that they've joined. It's been clearly said that they are not involved with the entire thing. They just went there to talk to the family. They are not joined with the police. They're not joining the military. They're not in the operation. So they wanted it to be known that they're not. So that's another thing. And they do have the two people of interest, but I don't think they've caught him. And in one of the morning newspapers, it did say that his current wife had somebody that was, they named the, I call them faction or faction, that is indigenous, but nearby. Had nothing to do with Sulu or, so,
Basilan.
yeah, none of that. So, but anyways, that's where we are. I'm just looking a few things up.
Yeah, for those of you who are not aware, why that's relevant as far as Sulu or Basilan or Holo is or Jolo as some of you may pronounce it. Um, those islands are basically where the radicals actually hide, and they don't they those in that area anyway in that area they don't they're actually not in Zamboanga del Norte. They go to Zamboanga del Norte, yes, and get stuff and supplies, stuff like that. Little stuff. But that's not really their operating area. So if they do decide to basically take somebody, they take them back to the islands, and that's why there's the speculation that these radicals took him is because they said that they took him on a boat, but to the best
That
of their
and that
knowledge.
and the weapons they had, but we were saying that if it was them, because like I said we were talking this morning, we said that family would have known, and it had been pretty clear that it was Abu Sayyaf or somebody specifically. It's the way they said that they were dressed. It wasn't evident that they were police. They just said that they were. And per their sketches and like what they had told them, they kind of know who officially now the people are. But if the footage that I showed yesterday is real and it is him, I don't think we'll ever hear from any local, like any, I don't think we're going to hear, you guys won't hear like in the United States or Canada that it's possible they won't even hear that they even found him. They might just bury it because of tourism and a few other things.
I'm
So,
actually surprised it made it all the way to the U.S. To be honest with you.
no, I'm not surprised. But I know that it stopped at the newspapers. And so, in other words, NBC put it online, newspaper and everything, but they're not talking about it because a lot of the speculation. I'm going to use the word because it's all over the place now. The speculations are that it's, when I say it's an inside job, let me say that it's possibly her ex of an ex, could be someone that he upset. He did say a lot of things. He offended the culture many times, and that fish bomb situation that was going on. There was another video that showed a kid by the water, and he just said, "Hey, look at this little Muslim," and he actually showed him with one and tossed it in the water that was lit. So he didn't even say it was. So there was a lot of things put on. There's a lot of things put up that might have, they were like, "Hey, that didn't look so good," and he did a lot, guys, and we're still majorly baffled. I mean, it's still really the talk of the town, and it's kind of like, I don't know, just the more and more you actually hear him and watch him. Just 12 days ago, he was talking about how he was trying to get to 100 subscribers, and it just really, you know, went through. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing, nothing.
Just so yeah. So we'll get into it. We don't have much more footage and clips than what we had yesterday. We might actually run it through again, but yeah. So today is the storm and the storm will be the topic today.
You want me to go down? You got me. You got me. Oh,
I don't get it.
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just said we were. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Everything where I can't make it evident and evident, and who knows?
Okay. I'm waiting for you to stop.
I did.
Okay. I mean, just now. MB. Hello, hello, Philippine Antics Squad. Hey, MB, how you doing? Ted. Hey, Ted. How you doing? Ted Deckins. Hello, beautiful people. Hey, Ted. We're still trying to cut through those prunes. We still have a gaggle of them. Sarah Tyson. Hello, Heidi and George. Hey,
Hey,
Sarah.
Sarah. I'm still thinking I have to actually cut up the live stream after this. Everything else that I have to do today, I have to remove the first 2-3 minutes. And I mean, to me, we should just start another live stream.
Stop. Anyway, I'm sorry. The hand towels actually match the mic today.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is the colors, the hand towels. Chosen One. Hey, Chosen One, how you doing, man? Hello, roomies. Denver says, magandang gabi. Good evening. Yeah, good evening to those in the U.S., correct. Just Who says that's a cute couple. Foreignoy. Good
Ed
morning, Heidi and
Rodney.
George.
No, that would be you that just didn't turn it on. You thought you turned it on.
Bobby G says, hi, my people. Benny G, newbies. Hey, welcome, Benny G.
Hey, Benny.
Foreignoy. No, hangover. You know,
No,
you
he
you
said
know,
that he made a comment why I did that live that you were out
I
drinking. There's
know
all
that.
kinds of
Um,
insinuation,
well,
but
no, it's a
I
joke.
wish he would, and I wish he would.
No, no, that's how I was gonna getting at. Foreignoy, for some of you again, he always says he always uses the word tagay, and
I thought he was meaning Tagatai. So
so there's a commercial that says tagay na, and I hate to say this, I had to Google where because I remember the commercial but vaguely, but tagay na is actually Ginebra gin. That's where it's from. Ginebra gin. Cuatro Cantos. You'll hear Cuatro Cantos a lot. Ginebra gin is the most popular drink here in the Philippines. I think it's the most popular, and then second would be Alfonso or Emperador. But anyway, Serene Black says hit that like button, folks. Oh, thanks so much.
thank you. I don't think it's a hoax. I think there was speculation that he might have made it up for actual views and everything. So, but I don't think it was all. I mean, at one point when we first started talking about it, we said it's a
It
possibility. Maybe
was
it's a
it
conversation.
was a possibility, but at this point, I don't think it is anymore.
No, that's
Yeah.
and I know somebody mentioned the photos that it all happened. That it was in the house. All the newspapers kept saying is that he was injured, shot, and then drugged to the boat. We didn't know it was actually in his actual bedroom, but
And honestly, I wish it is or was a hoax from the get go. I've always wished that because that's the best case scenario.
yeah, yeah.
Bobby G says I've seen that they said the body on the news there was a young American male. Did you hear that also?
Major mystery. That's all I got to say about that right now. Right.
Right. Angelo says seen the video, but not the entire video. Any links decompose after in the water went in the body. So on behalf, gives thumbs
And
up. Thank you so much.
Angelo, we in the previous video when it was just me doing the live stream, look for the previous live. I did put that link. Um, so the previous, it's in there. The live footage is in the link in our previous video. So
G Boon says amazing. Sorry, I'm just trying to amazing how many white American tourists are floating face down on the shores of provinces.
yeah, that is the if I had to put three things to it, and that's why I won't be eating a durian balut lunch anytime soon, is that would probably be there were so many different things, and I hope to God I'm wrong, but that was a white boy. That boy was so white, they would have. I'm surprised somebody didn't write Casper on him, and I know that sounds a little whatever, but that was a white guy. And then when the skull was looked at and all the factors are there and the big tufts of hair that he was always showing up under his arm, everything is there except for the shorts are off, the gaps in the teeth, that's been looked at since. And everybody's like, oh, everybody's all up in this business and that. No, guys, there are whole Facebook groups based on this. They are sleuths. They're all looking into it. You guys have no idea how nosy buddy Karens are out there on all of it. Like that shooting in Cebu, there's still people talking about that. And so it's people are gonna talk. The chismis is going to go around. And that was a white guy on that shore. And it was 150 miles away. It was a speedboat that left. It was a speedboat that left.
Well,
And
again, realistically, the honestly the gentleman we said he probably did not survive the first couple nights.
No, he
and it's
probably
been days already when that
days
body
10
surfaced.
today. Yeah.
Yes, so
I
it's
don't even think it's been day. I think he was out there 24 hours according to what there'd have been more. They did a study where they took oversized like
no. What I'm saying
pigs
is,
and whatever, and they sunk them into the salt water and seen what they looked like after a couple of days, and then looking at it, it'll show you how long.
what I'm saying is the drift.
So you're saying even if it was from over there, it could have drifted there even without a speedboat, 150 miles?
That no. I never said no.
No, I'm just curious.
Not in that time. Probably, maybe not. I don't know the speed of the currents,
That's
but
true.
okay. As far as the currents are concerned, the currents are right. If you are to leave a message in a bottle, throw it out in Sibukan, it'll probably end up in the somewhere in Maguindanao. Yes, that's
Yeah, that's
correct.
where it was.
If you're to throw anything that floats, you throw it there, it'll probably end up in that area. Correct. Now the speed, that's a different story. But again, I'm just saying, I don't know the speed of the currents. They vary. Anybody who does, does boating here know what I'm talking about. And also remember, again, like Heidi said, they took him out on a boat.
Oh, and the bad doggy says yes, and under his armpits also. Yeah, there was a lot of hair under that guy's arms,
Yeah.
and he had a bunch of it. Almost looked like you could braid it up, and that person that was on the shore did, and the skull indicate, European. Filipinos have a weird long almond shape, and remember, everybody was. I'm not saying they were meant to be born in an area, but they're
Well, biologically, we are different.
biologically,
Yes.
yes, but it was meant for their nasal passages to be open certain ways, and then everything indicates that it is a European white male skull. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't have to be stamped American, but everything else is. It's sad. I mean, but it's yeah, it's just it's out there. But Ted further down says Heidi will probably eat balut, but I doubt it's over this. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we relooked.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you what Heidi says. But anyway,
Yeah, I'll tell you what I said.
no, don't,
Okay.
don't. I wouldn't say that.
No, it's true. You guys could probably only imagine what I said from day one, but I'm trying to be.
Yeah. Now, Victor C and AA, you guys make good points. I'll get to that. Don't worry.
Oh, and hi. How would is that just Louis or Lot?
Well, Lou is how
Lou.
how I pronounce it. I could be butchering your name, Lou. Again, just
Yeah, he had a lot of
yeah.
good.
Foreign always says George looks like. No, I always look like that, even if with my eyes wide open. Honestly, on the live I watch myself, it
Well,
looks like my eyes are
unless you
closed.
actually double up on some caffeine, but we have in the last probably 3 days just from reading articles, watching. I hear other vloggers say they've been watching his stuff. If you guys really watch his stuff, which we have been, and how he acts and reacts, so we can speak upon it. That takes time, guys. Some of his lives are long, and so we've in the last couple of days we've been like tied up in that. So when I did that live, we've been trying to catch up with sleep. George was out handling some stuff and family and all of that. So we probably really are tired, but no, George always looks like that.
Now, this has been brought up before. Lou says it's interesting how the FBI was so quick to get
Mm.
involved. Do you think Elliot was doing some undercover work for Homeland Security, spying on the people that live there? No, and for a lot of
Oh,
reasons, I don't believe so. Because
I sent you that photo, Ted, because there was a doubt on the gap in his teeth, but you can see him.
yeah, no, I mean, I honestly don't think so for a lot of reasons. One, the area he's living in, there is no American interest in there. If that makes any sense. Most of the insurgents over there are not over there. They're across the water. Like I said, they're actually across the pond, so to speak. They're on different islands, and that's why that's the first place they went to check up on. It's possible. I'm not saying it's not, but unlikely. And also, again, most Um, the wording that the news sources say, and this is not just from the news. I already knew this. Um, the factions in that area are quote unquote spent, meaning they're not a real threat anymore. They're a threat in terms of can they do some, terrorist activity? Yes, but that's kind of, not even that they kind of stop. Kind of. I said kind of. They're insurgents. Insurgents will always be insurgents. Um, Cheatman says, hello, Heidi and George and Rumi.
Yeah, and I
Bobby D
sent that
says,
to some of our
yes, that would
people.
have had asked for ransom. Also, that's another thing.
They
Correct.
would have,
They would have asked for ransom the first day. Correct.
and I think, and we said that when he was only missing for a few days, and we did a live stream, and it was Sunshine that was really covering it for us. Now, believe me, there were Filipinos already talking about it, but in our group, it was Sunshine, and we appreciate his honesty and putting stuff out there. Um, that it was covered by Tim K and a bunch of other people since that the newspapers and news stations have been leaking some stuff here for a while, but they've been very clear, and so has the government in that area. Not just the LGUs, but the actual governor said, it's not my people. This isn't. They've been very clear that this doesn't appear to be that situation. And according to, we have photos. The photos have been removed from that guy's site. Weirdly, they left the video where the kids were pretty much all over the body that was floating. It's really wild. But the photos have been removed. We have the actual photos where they've like zoomed in on his face and everything. That's how some of this stuff was identified. And um it's that the way his head is, that's not bashed on the rocks as people had discovered or said before, because other parts of his body would have been bashed too. If it had been hitting, I was talking to you about that, there
Well,
just wouldn't
not
have
to
been.
mention if it was bashed on the rocks, most of his face probably would have been intact if it happened in that
Yeah, he
location.
had a big hole missing.
No,
There was something that, so in other words, this was a crime of passion. This is something, and if you watch his videos,
this was hate.
yeah, so I'm gonna, I've tried to, weirdly, I try to put myself like CSI into the situation, and I watched some of his videos, and I know this is gonna offend some people and upset. He had some arrogance. He had, although he was off, there were some actions that he was making in his videos, but as I said, nobody deserves to die over this. He didn't deserve anything. And the most eerie thing that I found that is still so haunting is the way that he was dumped. That's what disturbs me. And I told you guys only a few things that really upset me. And if he was really, it's weird. The action, the thoughts, the shooting is not what disturbs me. It's how he, if they really did, you know, it was the way they disposed. And I've seen these before done, mafia style in different areas in the United States. And that too is what I found haunting. So, like when you go and like read old articles and, about how things have happened, for me, maybe I've been desensitized due to movies and things that I've been through. But it's the way that he's so young and didn't deserve it over, and the fact he didn't leave, and the fact that he was warned, and then the fact, I guess I put myself in that situation that if that was me or someone that I loved, I don't want my kids picked over by young kids and somebody trying to pull them out of the water like that. It was just, it's really wild. They could barely get him up out of there because they're small Filipinos. So that two of them smaller Filipinos trying to pull him up out of there, the adults. And then they're like, oh, well, he's too small to be the American. No, he was really tall. And remember, the body took on water and it bloats and everything else. They're saying that he was way too big to be him. And I'm like, well, way too big to be Filipino, too. And so much going on. But we'll probably never hear that. What are you. What?
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I had to check. Now the shorts. Now some of you says, well, the wife said he was wearing black shorts. One, first off, we can't find any source of this.
And them appear to be boxers.
Okay, and
They do sell Mickey Mouse boxers.
that's my point. That's why I unzip my pants, literally.
Hmm.
Because one, again, we can't find source where the wife actually said this.
He was wearing a pair of black shorts in his live streams,
Correct.
a full pair of Bermuda ones. But I'm sure he was wearing something holding that ding ding in.
Correct. And the reason why, again, I unzip my pants, it's just to prove a, not to prove a point, but to reconfirm what I suspected. I wear shorts during the daytime. I wear. Thank you, Beverly, for the Nike shorts. I wear Nike shorts during the daytime. Black, blue, red, whatever. But guess what? At nighttime, I wear boxers. And right now,
Hey, what is
I'm
that?
under my pants. I'm wearing Donald Duck. No, I'm not joking. Donald Duck boxers. And
So,
oh no, don't even. All right, don't give Ted ideas. So what I'm saying
I'm gonna
is,
send this to you guys.
so that's
I'm gonna
probably
send you this, Sarah.
possible that what we're
What is
seeing is
that?
he's wearing nightwear. If this is him, keyword if this is him, okay? Because again, yes, he wears different kinds of shorts. I get it, but those are shorts. But you know,
Oh,
but
okay.
when they grabbed him, it was really late. It wasn't at 9. It was 10:30 ish. Because they said some say 10, some say 11. So I'm guessing it's somewhere in between.
Yeah, that's probably why they came up in our feed. Okay, so I told you this happens when some of the other people that watch us and watch other people, then they feed us. She said that American couple. Remember, I said, "Who is this?" She said that she watched the American couple, and he said something about there was a gun struggle over there, and that um, last week from boats, and that some of the bodies had went over to that area. But what's the chance of another white dude? It's I don't think you got to understand in that specific area when the kid said it's just him in that area. That's a pretty good chance that he is just in
Well,
that section.
that's a very high chance because if you're an expat, you really don't want to live in that area.
Now there are other, we said that there's bad people everywhere, there's good people everywhere,
No, they are.
and there's like they do like I just seen a whole article about bird watching that happens there. Like they get large groups, but this is in large groups with other Filipinos that go there specifically together in an area, and they do this and then they leave, but they don't live down there long term. And there are others down in Mindanao. Now, could something have happened further in another area up north? I don't know if they were up north, if it would have made it on that shore over there. It's too close. I don't think it
Well,
would have
the
drifted.
the reason why, okay, it
So, but I did see that couple. Yeah, I see where it says an American couple in the Philippines, but yet they're back in the U.S. and covering it. So it's kind of a.
the northern Mindanao thing again, guys. Again, it's actually not really the northern Mindanao. That's somewhat like, but that particular area of northern Mindanao, that particular area of Zamboanga, just that area is the one that again, because it's the closest port for these islands, and that's why they probably don't want to, you know, be in that area. Now, for example, Cedric, I haven't seen him yet in our chat, but Cedric, he's fine, he says, and he's safe, and hopefully he is,
Oh, snap,
because he's
Ted.
probably living on the northern part of that Zamboanga del Norte, if that makes any sense. Again, there's good areas, bad areas everywhere. Keep that in mind.
Sorry, Ted. I guess I did not fully send you those photos. There they are. Sorry. I guess some people didn't because they, like I said, it's strange. They removed the actual photos. They went gone almost right away. But they left the video, and the video's still there. The video's in the previous link of the, but it's easier for us to send them for those that are on our messenger through Facebook or those that have actually signed up for Philippine Antics. We'd be more than glad to send you them. But a lot of people did see it, and there are other places, and I know other Filipinos actually got that too. But I mean, I get these are all possibilities. You know, it still could be that that's not him, but with the, I didn't make a clip of the photos on the GMA. I think it was within the last 24 hours. I did finally officially see the scene inside the house. And remember the driftwood amount of blood I said that was outside, that I was like, oh, well, that didn't look. But when you see the photos on the inside, no, he wouldn't have there's no hospital that he would have managed to get to. So he'd have been, he probably even before the evening, he had succumbed to, the
Blood
size
loss.
of the size of the casing that was there. No,
Well,
he's,
it's an Armalite, but they
well,
they use those in Vietnam. I mean, those things are.
they use those to take down the.
I mean,
Now, me, it might have been
those are
possible,
5.56s. I mean,
but no, sorry, he's no,
you hunt with those things,
and
literally.
yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe it took 2 days, and then he could have been out for a day or
Well,
two,
like I
but
said, at about two, and that's being hopeful.
no,
But
he's um so it let's say the small chance that it's not him, speculation or not, allegedly, possibly, or whatever. That's some white dude, so we don't know. Could it be
well,
the storm?
hope
We can't say no.
hopefully again he's okay. However,
No, he'd have bled. He'd have bled
the
out.
probability is doesn't look good. Chosen one says,
Which,
"Can't we all get along?" Rodney King.
yeah, I think actually that I think a lot of people already knew that once they said they hit him, that it was a recovery. Remember, like, not the live stream by myself. I believe I said in the previous, it's a recovery at this point.
Yes, correct.
So
Now again, Lou says again, it's interesting to know how quick FBI get involved, and this is somewhat a disembodied statement, but when I say disembodied, because if you just read it, of course he's a U.S. citizen. That's what he's referring to.
yes, and
Why
he says,
FBI got involved?
yeah. Well, he said, "Do you think Elliot?" 1 second. He said, "Well, you don't have to go back up there. Just go down."
No,
Do you? Yeah.
we already read that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think Elliot was doing some sort of?
yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think he was. There has been conspiracy theories, but in watching video after video after video, you still would have seen that. It's like, how crazy leaks out of certain people, and how people are just mean even when they're trying to be. You'd have seen a serious, not that I don't think he's intelligent. I think he's on the spectrum of autistic. If you watch all the things that he does, there's something neurologically possibly off. Everybody's agreed. They're all over TikTok saying it. They're all over Facebook saying it. So not the first. We probably were the first to say something which offended people. But there's something. The more people keep watching his videos, they now see that there's something I didn't see, where it was a possibility that he could be intelligence or CIA or any of the Homeland Security. And really, I'm going to tell you, I know probably for a fact they would not send somebody over there. There's no getting into those factions unless you join
Well,
the
like I
group.
said, there's no American interest in that area. That's what I'm saying.
No, they're not involved. They said we are
There's
not teamed
no.
with them.
Well,
We
they're not.
only went to question.
Even if, well, what I'm saying is, will disavow any. But point being is, again, it's I don't see or heard of any American interest in that area. You know what I'm saying? So, but I could be wrong. Now, I'm honest question again. You may or may not answer this. Is that footage really him? What did they do to his hair? The dead guy was bald.
He did have hair.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Did you only see the footage? You never saw the pictures?
We have all the
Because
photos.
the photos are the ones that actually show the close-ups, and
And when he was rolled on
there's
the
hair.
side,
There's
there
hair.
is a small patch, and
There's hair.
that's all he had. He was
Yeah.
already shaved on the side, and he does grow in a beard, because a lot of people said they could see
No,
the on his face. He's got something
yeah,
on this one, but
he's got a scruffy, yeah.
I had to look because most of the time he has nothing. But he did up north grow it in, and he has grown it in here. So he gets a little bit here, and he grows he does grow. He has the hair, so But this could, like George said, I said, do you think it's a light-skinned Korean or something? He might have been out on a boat, or possibly it's still all a possibility. But the amount of blood and what I seen on the inside, the photos now directly from the Cebuco police that was released to GMA, or they might even be on their site, guys. There's a lot of information we've been going through.
And
I don't
AA
think he
says again,
survived a few days.
A says Floater was probably a Chinese pogo worker who couldn't make his quota. It's possible too. That is
Yeah,
also a
or
possibility.
yeah,
Yes.
a very
Yes.
light-skinned.
Now, the only reason why I'm not disagreeing with you.
Super, super white
I'm
guy.
not disagreeing with you, AA. The probability is lower in my book because again, there's no anybody who does police work, anybody who does investigative work or anything like that. There's no such thing as coincidence. The,
Well, the skull is not Asian.
well,
Even a Chinese person, their skull would not have had
well,
the shape of the sockets. The eye sockets and the nose sockets, to the doctors that have looked at it, does not show that it is an Asian. That's why I'm now at the 90.99 right now.
well, that's the
Could
thing
be
I
another
was
way
getting
too.
at. There, the probability of again similar ear, similar hair, similar underarm hair,
Yeah,
similar
that's a
nipple structure,
long.
similar body structure. The similarities, there's a very high probability. And the coincidence again in if you work in investigative work, I'm not saying I am. I was in loss prevention, yes, but no,
No.
there's
And
no such thing as coincidence.
right, and then like I said, that right there is of
Well,
any
and the
Asian
timing.
descent.
What are the again? How often does a a Caucasian body end up in the
Right.
shores
And this
of
right
the
here, I
Philippines?
mean, you can see that it is
Yeah,
the,
babe, I know
yeah.
that. I know that.
So
Yeah.
it's
Um,
yeah.
Bobby G says I've seen in the news that they said they had two in custody and that it was white American male. Smile and Be Happy says George likes to analyze and Heidi likes to speculate possibilities. Both sides are covered. Perfect. Robin Murray
Like I,
says the story aired on network TV local station in Vermont,
it did. It was
likely
on
many others.
ABC. Yeah, a couple days ago they did put it on there, and I was like, I wonder why they're not doing it on NBC. Well, they're busy with the elections. I mean, he's getting more and more coverage, but it was put in the newspapers, and it just kind of.
Angelo says possible family set up the girl's parents' father. Now, that's also a possibility. We're not saying it is, and that's what happened, but that is a possibility. Foreignoy says Heidi, stop boring.
Mm-hmm. But
That's Foreignoy.
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
So why
Um,
did you emphasize that? Hey, George.
because it's directed at you.
Yeah, I got the George.
Anyway. Um,
Why won't they? And if they have, they're going to wait for DNA and they have to contact the
well, I don't
families
think
and go
they'll
through all
do
the
DNA. I think there's biometrics,
fingerprints.
fingerprints.
Yeah.
To my understanding and to my best of my knowledge, to have a passport, you need fingerprints. And what I'm saying is, he had a passport. Probability, he is on a system somewhere with a
And
fingerprint.
let's say he did everything he was supposed to. If he started to apply for a 13A, if all of it was, up and up and he had all the paperwork to show that he was Islamically married and did all that, they'd have fingerprinted him then. So that's a possibility too. They would have had those on
All
file.
right. No, DNA is not necessary.
But it'll be a while before.
You know, since the said body has both hands, you
Oh yeah,
know.
it's gonna be a couple weeks because they'll have to tell the family. The family have to say
Yeah,
this. They'll give it a time
there'll be
frame.
some time, yes.
Could even be, but by the time they send, if that is him, they probably get the body up out of there and back home to the U.S. Or whatever. Then yes, it's going to be.
Right.
I figure a few weeks to a few months, or not at all. Because my guess is the president, the government
It's
down there does not want
possible
any more.
they'll just try to just not sweep it under the rug, but just
Like the
hush
rapper.
about it.
Yeah,
Just
whatever
hush about it.
was after they
Correct.
caught him,
Like
we not another
right.
peep in the papers. It almost immediately stopped,
Right. It just
and they'll just keep saying he's missing, and maybe in a few weeks they'll announce if they even do that. They're really concerned about whatever tourism because that'll. It's not going to affect it. I don't think it's going to be like nobody's ever going to come, but there are people that are in any of those areas. What is it, Surigao? Some of those areas that are considered in that section. Tourism may slow down a hair. They don't even want that right now. They just got up and out of the pandemic, and my guess is Marcos is going to. It's going to be so, and he's going to be like over, a YouTuber that knew better. I could only imagine. I'd like to be a fly on the wall to hear what they, had to say in regards to his, being very, very careless, guys. That's the most disturbing thing. Is he mentioned, we showed you guys the footage. I don't know how many do you want to play, being you weren't here for the clip. Play the other clip we have where he's saying that her family knows I'm feeling boxed in. Do you want to play that footage again today? You weren't here.
Well, I wasn't here, but I was there.
Okay, so
I
you don't
mean,
have to. No, that's right. Don't do it. Uh,
yeah.
you always tell me there could be new people that won't go through the other live stream. It was long.
Well, we can, but it's this one.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna.
Because the family I'm with is just scared. Like, they want to keep me in like a little box so that they keep me as safe as possible. And then by doing that, they feel like they're keeping themselves as safe as possible too. I feel like I've been staying in this area for so long to the point where I don't even know if people like me anymore. Maybe they want bad things to happen to me now. It's like that's how I'm starting to think. So it's like, it's really not good. Um, Sometimes it's hard for me, like living with my out there too. Back in the U.S., like no matter what I do, no matter how nice I be or anything, like it's hard. It's just hard for me to live with him. I don't know why. Yeah, I did my fair share of adventuring, like in the U.S. and stuff like that, but not much. Not really much, like in the Philippines or anything like that. And like, if it comes to the point where it's like all of a sudden I'm kidnapped and something's gonna happen to me, I'm gonna ask myself, I don't know.
Again, we apologize for the audio.
It's not like living with my grandparents who are just absolutely so nice all the time. Like, yeah, people are rude sometimes a little bit. The right way to do it is probably to be like, you can do that. Just become a Muslim, and then it's okay. You can marry anyone. It's like part of the culture. You can marry up to like 7 women in Muslim culture. The other thing I would say is people's attitude. It's hard to deal with it sometimes too. Monkey in the wall. No, I don't know if I'm pregnant or no. They said I'm pregnant. No, I don't wanna go, just only you and me. I don't wanna go, just only you and me. I'm afraid.
And that had to be rough.
I'm afraid if we don't have somebody with us. I don't really know because everybody's telling me right now there's people out there planning to come get me, bro. No, but that's true though. There's people coming here to tell my family that there's people that want to kidnap me or they're threatening to kidnap me or stuff like that. Like every day this is happening. This is like a real life thing for me here. And that's why no foreigners or there's no tourists staying here because they're smarter than that. But for me, I've been living here. I've been taking.
Okay. Hey Brian, how you doing, man?
Good
Brian in the
morning.
house.
And
Feeling
again, apologize for the audio. I tried to process it, and when we get clips like this, it's not a direct download. And George wasn't here, so I did make that the last minute. So my engineer was gone.
Philly in the Philippines says this is world news. They can't keep this quiet. Now, keep in mind, it's important to note that Philly lives in Mindanao. He lives in Surigao. Okay, that is still part of Mindanao. Again, remember, it's not what people think.
Although he did say further down, he says if it was him, they'd have had it on the news by now, all over. I don't think so. I think it's going to take a little bit. This is less than 48 hours ago. I think it'll take a little bit. They may put it on afterwards and announce that's what happened, but I don't think they're. I get they can't hold back the news, but I think here in the Philippines there's a big difference in releasing news. Yeah, he just said it was further down. He said that. Hey, D man, what's going on? So that's what he. If the body was Elliot, it would be all over the news by now. They said they're investigating it. The police have. They made the major. The photos that they had were removed. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to find where somebody said they seen it on a news place, but I am not. There it is. I'll see what they're saying.
Yeah, and Ted says again, Heidi will probably eat balut, but I doubt it's over this. And Foreigner says, and durian.
Mm,
More bets in the future. There you go.
no, that's it. That was the last one.
No, Doggy, I don't. I actually said this. I'm not sure if I said it in the live.
Yeah, no, we said a few times
No,
back. We didn't believe
we
it
did. We
was.
didn't think it was a that type of.
It was just assumed because it
Yeah,
was the region. I think they've been behaving themselves and all of that. We
I
said
told
this.
Heidi it was a homicide, and the close friends of ours. I said this is not what they say it is when it
Mm-mm.
first happened. No. Tony Manning says the sad part about this is the wife is pregnant and the child will grow up without a father. Correct. Yes. Good morning, George and Heidi. Good morning, Brian. Thaddeus, that's kind of hard to do. Thaddeus says,
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh because this is off topic, but it's true and not at the same time. Thaddeus says, don't eat Chinese imported chicken.
Sorry.
The reason why I say
That was probably Chinese imported chicken sandwiches. Did you eat that chicken sandwich with the chicken salad? The weirdest sandwich you ever had? That wasn't
okay,
chicken.
then
That was
then stop
Chinese.
then stop eating Jollibee, stop eating McDonald's, stop eating KFC. All of the chicken from Jollibee, KFC, and McDonald's here in the Philippines are from China.
My question would be, okay, what'd you think of that chicken sandwich you ate?
I haven't eaten it yet.
So weird.
Um, Bobby G says they said outright on the news it was a young American male. In my opinion, says not my opinion, but
Okay, I
that
want to
in
let
my
you
opinion
know that
says
yes, they're
so.
actually,
That was him
that's
then.
not a real public news. That's somebody's small YouTube channel that calls themselves news. I just want to show you. They've got like 500 subscribers that they put all other articles out on there. So
Mm.
it's out on YouTube as far as going through like ABC and some ABSN and all of that. This is just a no. This person is just doing basic coverage. So I wouldn't call that. No, sweetie, that's just a YouTuber with three that it actually shows where he released it. And yes, they're saying too that it is, and that yeah, we get it.
Phil in the Philippines says nothing wrong with talking and discussing the missing American. However,
Yeah,
some vloggers show no compassion to the family of the missing victim.
if that makes sense.
Vets vlog says I agree. It's probably deceased, but we don't know when that video was taken. We just know it was uploaded recently. I hope his mom doesn't see that video before the man in the suit knocks. Well, in all probability, she probably has. Again, it was there way before even you know.
The
Um,
the embassy knows about it. The U.S. embassies knows about it. Oh, he's saying that ANC Digital did say that the two men in custody related to a body found. So, yeah. You can put that up. I put anything up that's not.
No, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. Um,
I think. Okay.
Thaddeus says cold cases are a norm at current and past blotters. No, no, no. I agree with you on this one. Um, the bad little doggy.
Mhm.
Um, After they put him on the boat, I doubt he ever was on land again. Unfortunately, no, I agree with you.
Hey, Anthony,
Probably
how
not.
are you? Tell us Heidi and no censorship. You're right, and I don't have to. So some people got their sexy ladies, some people do this on their YouTube channel, some just this and that. We cover news and we're going to talk about stuff. We're going to talk about what happens with the expats. We always have. So nothing has changed.
Ted says it's
And
on.
believe me, there's censorship. You can trust and believe there's censorship going on. The volume right now that you're hearing is at about 50%. They said they don't like the volume. Turn it up or whatever.
Mm,
Turn it down. Turn the volume up or turn it down. I'm at 50% right now.
yeah. Ted says it's on Patreon, and Foreignoy says sure, no hangover. Joke lang.
Yeah.
In my opinion, says no. The FBI agents in the Philippines, they didn't fly from Washington. No,
No,
they're.
there is an FBI
It's like an
Natash.
annex. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little, but they're not involved. They're not joining with them for the looking. They're not. They made it very clear that they are not with them during all of this, and they're not. They were just there to talk to the family. That's been said over and over again.
Yeah. No, they have
There's no
like.
involvement whatsoever. Like they're there to make sure that. So it's all being done.
There you go. Justin says they have FBI and CIA stationed at embassy all over the world. Correct. Correct.
Mhm,
They have a very small staff. Correct.
mhm, mhm.
That was that's an interesting question. Was Eastman a Jew?
Yep, it's possible he might have mentioned, but I don't think any of the I wouldn't think any of the groups would do that to him just based on, but you never know. Yeah, these days you
It
just never
is
know.
it possible? It's possible, but
But it wasn't the extremists that went through and decided that.
right, correct. Thaddeus says FBI and Interpol have presence in the Philippines at all times. Correct.
Mhm,
In my opinion, says this seemed more personal, and yes, I believe it is.
mhm. Well, yes, of course he
Well, he
was.
charged interest loans to everybody. Yes,
Yes. Hmm.
yes, I heard he was trying to
But
charge interest on loans to Muslims. Correct.
yeah, but I don't think he was the only one down there. But it's all possible. Again, all talk, all speculation, all maybe. Yeah.
Well, credibility or not, Charlie. Again, the FBI here really don't have power. They they pretty much more like they send the FBI to go after expats who misbehave, and then they get locked up, and then the FBI comes over, and that kind of deal.
Bobby, that was the footage we just seen. If you guys want to see the raw footage, okay. Where are you at on this? Okay, so
Yeah, see, this, for example, again, I had to laugh because it's kind of silly and funny because it's not real. White Samurai says, "Be careful, Philly," and Philly says, "Why?" And White Samurai says, "You're a white man in the jungle.
uh,
I heard they have headhunters out there." Yeah,
yeah.
it's a joke, obviously, but yeah.
Well, hey, anything is possible anywhere in the world right now. That's what I was saying the other day when I ran that live. I was like, there's bad people everywhere. It doesn't mean the Philippines is unsafe. And that's the biggest, takeaway from this. It is still safe. You just have to have your head on a swivel. And that this is a crime of passion and there's something going on. And they're saying the first woman that actually scammed them was a relationship he had. Some say he was married. Who knows? That he was married at some point to her too, and that's what scam. That's what I said. The article disappeared when this all broke out. The one article that I could find in a major newspaper, it went away. Now they're putting it back out again that yes, he was scammed and that he did have somebody else and he found love and that he, kind of just went from there. But, there's bad people everywhere. It doesn't mean, and that was a red zone. He knew it. He said he knew it. He said he knew everything. He needed an escort everywhere. And so that that had to be hard for him to be told not to go places. She said it needed to be a family member that was with him when he went places. Well, who knows? Could have been even sitting out on the beach. He probably needed somebody. It's really hard saying, but she clearly stated it in the video, and that had to be really rough.
Yeah. D-Man says, didn't the news state that he was shot in the legs when they came up to get him?
Yes, they did. And
They said he was shot in a leg when not didn't clarify which part of the leg, and
could have been the back of the leg. They're only showing the front. That's another thing I never thought about. That people like, oh, I didn't see
and that's
it. He's
another
only
thing.
laying on his back, and it could be the body was laid up on the side. Like we have the photos where he's laid up against the wall. They had him long ways at some point. It could have been on the back of the leg. The other photos of him laying down, again, you can't see the back of his legs. So that kind of
Yeah, and that's another thing again that movies always teach us wrong. And what I mean is, when you shoot somebody in the leg, you have a higher probability of them not surviving because you have a higher probability of hitting a main artery in the leg.
I know that was now officially I would agree. I forgot what person. It was a long night the other night or morning. That photos it is on the news. They've released officially what was on the inside and a better angle of the driftwood area outside. I thought it all happened. The
Well, the
incident
fact
leg
they
was
could see
outside
it clearly is a
on the
bad thing
sand. Yeah,
because
on the inside.
that absorbs right away, and the
And
fact that you can see it
he's
clearly in the
not a
sand, yeah.
tiny guy, but he's not a big guy either, so it wouldn't have taken long. I don't think he survived the ride itself. And according to how many days it's been, and if he didn't, they could have at that point tried to do something and drop him, and that may be how far out part of the way, and they decided, hey, he's already. It's hard saying.
Bobby
Hey,
She says,
Victoria.
I love the province life. Wouldn't change it for anything, but I have 70 of my wife's family in the area who all love me to death. Thank God.
Aw.
Aw. Victoria. Hi, Victoria. Good
Hey,
morning, Heidi, George, and
Victoria.
everyone. Um,
Oh, and that's something else. Let me bring, before you go any further, I'm glad that you mentioned, not that it really has anything to do with it, being as everybody likes this type of topic and y'all are actually here in the room. Um, Something that's not been talked about too many times that I feel may have been part of the angle. Y'all realize she was just turned 18 in September, and he says he's been here for 7, 8 months, which means she was a 17-year-old girl and he is 26. He's been 26, I guess, most of the year. So in other words, there's a 8-year difference, give or take. That's quite a bit. That also breaks the Philippine law in
well,
itself. Although
but
it's a Muslim faction,
but
it is.
if the parents agree,
No, I get that, but
which obviously they do.
that still might have upset some people. There was a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
things that
Well, yeah, of
upset,
course.
and for you know, we get the so you're actually saying that even if the parents agreed that it's okay down there in that area, the laws are not overwritten, written, or
No, no, no. If they have parental consent, yeah.
I thought you said like here with parental consent, it doesn't matter. It's still an 8-year difference that the parents thing no longer applies. That's what I'm saying is, does that law itself become
You're talking about the
overridden?
Romeo and Juliet clause, the 3 year difference. No, no, no. That applies if the parents don't agree. But even then, if the parents don't agree, they can still press charges.
Okay, but I thought the marriage
Like right now,
license or them being married is still within the government. There's
yeah,
still
no, they are. But the question is
a
again,
nine.
is the Islamic marriage and how they did it.
Okay, I'm just saying there.
No,
The public law and then Islamic law. What applies, guys? And then did that have anything to do with it?
well, that's also actually this is actually really a concern, and again that um he did cross again. I'm not saying it's what he did was wrong. I'm not saying that, but you have to remember some people perceive this as wrong. One, interracial. He crossed racial boundaries. Some people that's wrong.
Yeah, he
Okay,
took the Muslim name
right.
Muhammad.
The age gap. To some people, that age gap is
Yeah, it
wrong.
just hit me 2 days ago. I was like, wow,
Okay,
there was an 8 year
right,
difference, and her birthday was just recently.
right.
So
And then third, the religion. To some people, that's wrong. Haram.
and you guys are in a total different neck of the woods down there. When you get out to the province, sometimes that actually changes. There's clans, there's a lot of different things
So
going on.
he's in an isolated area. Keyword isolated. If for example, if they both lived in, for example, Angeles, nobody cares.
But down there, all
But
the
down
lights are on
there, it's a
them.
different story.
Mhm.
Because again, he crossed a racial boundary, he crossed a religion boundary, and then he crossed an age boundary.
And what if there really weren't a whole bunch of what they would consider loan sharks down there? What if he did something he's seen somebody else do and there were no 5 6ers down there? I mean, I think there probably was, and he was cutting into some business down there, but maybe they weren't there. Maybe they were further somewhere else up north or something when people went to go get money and didn't do it right there. What is that? You don't shit where you eat situation. Maybe he literally was doing a couple different things, but during his lives and videos, I want to let you know some of the things he said. You know, if well, I'm not going to go there and say if I was a Muslim or if I was Filipino, some of the things he was releasing and saying about the area was you might be able to do that here. You might be able to do that in Cebu. You may be able to go through Tondo and say, okay, Tondo's crap and live in Manila. But if you go down there and say, hey, they're doing this illegal, they're burning trash, they're throwing fish bombs, they're doing this, they're doing that, he was really putting a lot of information.
And here's the problem with that.
And
YouTube sends you to your neighbors.
Right, so anything would have went out to anybody
to people
within
around
that
him.
region.
So if he talks crap about the people,
and he wasn't
the
even
locals will know about it.
And like I said, 12 days ago he had only like 100 people less, and then he might have been up to 1,000 after they knew it. I think now he's at 5, 3. I haven't looked at it recently. Facebook has definitely grown. What I'm saying is he put all that out and he hadn't even reached monetization. This is not like, what's that guy, Atozi or Mr. Beast or somebody that has millions of viewers. Like recently, a big vlogger just arrived in Cebu and they went to the jail and he actually danced with the guys. And it's like, I see where all that was happening, and he was showing them, which was still strange to me that they allowed him in to record the jail. And I know they've done documentaries, but so I don't know. I think he's like at 1 million subscribers or something. They let him in to record and dance with the prisoners, which is you would never get that in the U.S., but they did that here, and it probably would have only happened in Cebu. But
probably
he was a beginning vlogger.
Everything
was
a budding vlogger.
Yeah, it was. He was under 1,000. He wasn't even monetized. So all of that for a non-monetized thing, and I get it. We said we were always going to cover. We never expected monetization ourselves. Now we do.
That's another thing. He's a vlogger.
Well,
to some of you, to a lot of people, that's nothing. But I mean, you guys can disagree with me on this one, but a lot of locals, when they think you're a vlogger, they think you're a mayabang. They think you're arrogant. You don't have to do anything wrong. They already think that. If you speak English, if you're Filipino and you speak English, they think you're already arrogant. I'm like, no. But anyway, the point being is, I'm not picking on Eastman here, okay, guys? The point I'm trying to make is, as my mom always says, you don't worry about intelligent people. You worry about the dumb people. And again, I'm not talking about Eastman.
So what about
I'm talking about.
I'm both.
I'm not talking about Eastman here. What I'm saying is,
Let's stay away.
for example, in all probability, the person who people the people who did this to Eastman are not the intelligent ones. They're the ones who don't think. They're the ones that think, oh, he's here to take our women. Like, an intelligent one would think, well, technically he
Right.
can't take the women because I could probably take the same woman that he can. But an intelligent one would say, oh, he's taking our women. I can't get any woman because he's here. Which,
And in that region, there's a lot to say.
well, there's more of the uneducated, the ones that don't think more beyond themselves. They just think about themselves. They just think of, sorry, woe is me, that kind of deal. These are the ones that, oh, he's a vlogger. Oh, oh, and then, now that's where again the religion. Oh, he's not even really one of us. The religion boundary. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's not even Filipino. Again, the racial boundary. So again, it's, you worry about the dumb people. They're the ones that will act and do something bad at you, do something against you before thinking about the consequences.
And it could be what they're. You got to kind of watch the actual local news coming from the Filipinos, not even the ones they're broadcasting in the U.S. That's always usually second or third hand after it passes through. They're just say, "Hey, I seen this. Okay, let's cover it." But the news today, within the last 10 hours, is stating that it's not um, the militia or the Abu Sayyaf or any of that. They're actually stating that they have two people of interest. They don't say they have them in their custody. I think one of them said they did, but they said that they know, one of the guys was unmasked. That was one of the issues. He felt comfortable enough, which would also indicate to me that it was somebody, it was personal. He felt comfortable enough. Well, it's just, it's my cousin that's after him situation. And whatever it was, he was unmasked. He felt comfortable something was going on. But again, whoever he was with prior, it has arrived in the newspapers, like we had originally said, what was that, when this all first started, that it would be his first wife. He might have Islamically married the first girl. And then others are saying it was the woman that he was with. It's one of her exes that is all jealous of him now. Maybe there was some beef back in the day, or is it all wrong and it's the current wife? It's her ex. And she's really young because some of the footage shows him going by a school in more than one footage. So I'm actually wondering if she was still attending school. He said in his video a couple of days ago, before this all happened, which was, I think, now at a 12-day mark, that I've been doing this for about 7 months. He says, but I went back to the U.S. and then I went on to Africa. So yes, it was reconfirmed that he went on to Africa and went to Liberia. And it appears to be his grandparents, not his parents, that possibly went with him. And then he said he came back to the U.S. or back to the Philippines. So he has been in and out of the country. But he's, which means if she just turned 18 and if he has been here now for 7 or 8 months and he's been in and out, but he said this time. So that means on and off for about a year. So she could have even been 17. If it's been more than a year, then 16 and a half. So he's, I don't know, If that was an older expat, everybody'd be like, ooh, what's going on? They'd be blaming this and that and this and that. But the guy's still 26 years old. It is still somewhat creepy. So then maybe that's why someone mentioned sexpat during the live. And there's a lot going on here, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot to actually process. And I think that's why this, became again, what was so interesting about the tin can going to the bottom of the ocean gate or whatever. And I was really baffled by that too. It's like the whole world, all the memes and videos and everything is being covered, and this slowly is. It just happens to be we're here and it's in our, my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Boy Scout says no white man's body has ever been washed up on the Philippine shore except that one.
That's what.
Now, Carlo Ruben says, our question is he still alive? Because we believe in leaving no man behind. He's a baby. He is. He's a very young guy. And that's why we're mad. Well, the problem is, again, is
Mad.
remember there's a show called 48 Hours? That rule still applies here. If they haven't shown proof of life within 48 hours, it doesn't look good.
Hey, Michael. Let's see. 9:46. I'm holding your spot. Thank you, Michael, for the sticker.
Hey, Michael
What's
Onstad,
up,
how you doing?
Michael? And good to see you here. He's probably here all the time anyways,
Yeah,
but
hey,
I
Michael.
always do a big shout out for Michael. He is the best insurance agent here in
Correct.
the Philippines. He works with expats. He is an expat. He lives here.
For your health insurance and life insurance needs, go
Hey.
see Michael Onstad.
Like a good neighbor, Michael Onstad is here. That
Well,
almost went.
Well, if you didn't say his last name, you just might.
Yeah, Michael's here. Okay.
It would have worked better. Yes.
Here. Okay, so I'll just do like a good neighbor, Michael's here. Ready? Like a good neighbor, Michael is here. Get your insurance today from the Philippines. Yay! Hands up. Weirdo. I need a new weirdo.
All right.
You know what? I'm gonna ask our delivery driver if he'll join our live. Like we said, I need a new host. Host. Oh, and then add on the side note, I'll repeat per her words. I don't think I'm pregnant, but they did say I'm pregnant. That is new footage within a few weeks, so she could be a few months pregnant. Because yeah, you never feel pregnant in the beginning unless you're barfing or something. And my first pregnancy was fine, and then when I had my second one, I had one of each, one girl, one boy situation. I did feel different each one. I didn't know for quite some time either, and I was young there too, and so I think that is a really added twist to some situation. So, which let me tell you what, if she is and he's gone, that will also put the child in danger because there is and has, according to stories and according to even him telling a story, that they have taken half children, for ransom in the past, and or they take them as different situations down there. So even if there's a child that is half, that was the family that returned down there 10 years ago or whatever. She was Filipino and the child was half. It was probably based on him being half, knowing he was an American. So if he's an American kid, I would highly suggest that she would leave the area. You would think after this that would make her, but can she do it? Will her family have her do it? And so that does put, the child now. So she's back in the same problem, which is really crazy. Yeah.
Now, Laura makes a good point here. Laura says, so why did they take him? Why not just unalive him at his home? Excellent question. Why? Okay, let's analyze the situation. They had military grade, military grade rifles. I put a quote on that because, again, we don't know if that's what they really had, if they really had M16 rifles, or they probably have something similar that kind of look like M16s. Not necessarily M16s, because there's a lot of replicas nowadays. Okay, so, and then they're wearing military or police uniforms. Okay.
No, they weren't. They were wearing all black. No military, no.
Okay,
police.
well, they kind of pretended to
They
be.
did pretend to be.
Okay.
Yes, they said
And
that
they were
we
on a
are.
boat. Now, the reason why I'm stating these is because that is, again, somewhat the territory of said Muslim faction, radical faction. I believe they did this to kind of make it look like they were the ones who were involved, that were responsible, and not the locals. That's what I believe in, because I did.
Could have been their part-time job, and they might
No,
have
no, it's
some
possible,
point been
but
part of it.
correct,
I mean, remember,
but
there's generations.
but like I said, but the real question is, why didn't they just
Could have
do
been
it
a
at the
boyfriend.
house?
It said that I don't have the.
But I believe, again, it's because they're trying to shift the focus not on them but on the other faction.
Right. Let me. You can go ahead. I know
I can't.
I know. One second. I just want to.
Yes, because I did think about that. It's like that doesn't make sense. Why did they do it? But then again, it would make sense if they shift the focus on somebody else and them not take the blame, because everything again at first looked like that faction was involved.
Okay, so the newspaper said this morning his time in the Philippines had not been without heartbreak. A failed romance in a Zamboanga city had left him very shaken and crushed. He was scammed, according to the former mayor. And then it actually said in the same clip, okay, so this is something similar I've seen from the beginning. The nature of his past remained part of his inquiry as they went through some things and his disappearance. It said there has been talk about a likely connection between Eastman's abduction and his marriage, with residents saying that the woman was previously involved with a Sama Sambuco indigenous man who supposedly was wanting her back. So the guy was wanting, yeah, his current wife, not his previous wife. So, and that was in the papers today. So
Okay.
I don't know what the Sam. I'll see if I can see what that means, but that's, you know, so, and now that they have two people of interest, it's,
Right. And as I was saying, again, I think they built on again, why didn't they do it at his home? They built on his fear. His fear was he was gonna get taken, and everybody says that he was gonna get taken, and he kept repeating this in his videos, and they kept telling him he will be. Again, because that's the mo of these radicals, and I think again, I
or do you
believe
think the indigenous man they discussed, she knew he was dangerous, so she,
no, I don't. I mean, I don't think so. But anyway, Houston 44 says the guy went to a dangerous part of the world, worked as a loan shark. Yeah, which is again, even Filipinos are not safe if they do that kind of line of work. No. And engage in other dangerous behaviors. It's sad if anyone dies, but him dying shouldn't be a surprise. Again, even Filipinos get whacked whenever a Filipino does a 5-6 loan. And guys, don't take it literally. 5-6 doesn't mean that's the actual loan percentile. It's just the term. Don't be technical, okay? Um, yes, Carlo, he is still a baby in our eyes. Correct. No, he is. He
mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah.
Actually, even if they're 30, I believe I even say kids.
Yeah, he's saying what is the problem with them just saying that the body is him or not? I think it'll take a few days. This just happened, so now it's less than 48 hours because they'll wait for full discovery. They're not going to just spout out in the news, hey, we found a white guy on the shore, and then they're just going to, I think they want to identify beings that's unusual. It'll take a little bit. And then if it is beings they know it's him, they're going to start with his family saying this is 100% him.
Yeah. Now, Sarah, it's possible they did at the local station. It's
Mm-hmm.
possible because remember, most of the time doesn't really go farther than that.
Uh-huh.
We don't know. We don't know.
But that would be the same as what happened with the rapper and him. That was a big story. And the family did come over here. They just chose not to. They understand there is still a danger. He still had connections. There's still connections here. It's way too dangerous. Where's the family? So going to talking and being upset with the news stations, whether it's here or there, you know,
Yeah.
is probably not a possibility, or they're just not like that. I mean,
Yeah. Philly says FBI is already stationed in the Philippines. Correct.
yeah.
George Slipper says tourism will drop. Certain ones will drop off. Yes. Boy Scout says, what are the chances of a white man's body washed up on the shore within days of kidnapping? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said there's no such thing as coincidence. Vlogging Life says he sure doesn't seem like the kind who wants to be a vlogger either. So quiet and almost meek, I guess.
I said it almost seemed like it was forced, but he did a lot of vlogging, and then he sat down and discussed his, what journey he'd had up to then of his vlogging. Um, and we also said that it could be a possibility that they did possibly know who he was or knew and gave some off descriptions or something, but maybe it all fell apart right there. Maybe he got injured inside the house with a total confrontation and fight. And, her ex brought some friends, possibly. And then it just, maybe he was already, gone at that point. And they just took him on off to the boat and then ran him out and then tried to anchor him. And maybe he just broke loose after a few days.
No, yes, that's usually what
So
happens.
there's been
Because actually,
speculation that
the
it
rope
all
on his
could have.
leg was frayed. Like it looks like it just broke off.
Yeah, there was a blue rope on his leg.
Yeah.
On this person's, the person they found had that, and
Yeah.
so maybe it all broke out on the beach itself afterward. Like inside, and then he came out, and then they drug him. But at that point, maybe it really wasn't. It was the family that told everybody. So maybe the FBI went down there just to question because they're kind of thinking like us, like what's really going on. So
Yeah.
maybe it was just to bring some presence down there.
Well, yes and no. Again, it's kind of also be aware that FBI are trained, specially trained, actually, to be an FBI agent. It's really rigorous. Also, not only are you screened, your entire family's screened. Um, I
Do
know because I have an uncle who's actually FBI, and he had those special pew pews that shoot around corners before anybody even knew about them. But anyway, no, I'm not making this up. This is real. But point being is,
That's why you said pew pew.
yeah. Point being again is they can talk to, and talk to the family and immediate witnesses, and you can tell things with just by talking to them.
So you can also tell if they were lying about the story.
Correct. That kind of stuff.
Because them guns are uncommon but common there. So it could just be guns in certain houses and stuff. In other words, there's a lot going on in the
Right.
process. But maybe they definitely had mentioned in the very beginning they were definitely grilling the family. So
Yeah, and Tony Manning also says that the FBI was there for DNA samples of the blood scene where he was shot.
interesting. I wonder why. Just to identify that it was really him in the room, possibly. I mean, that's something I would have never thought about. I mean,
Well, I mean, like I said, they
hmm.
they have procedures. D-Man says, "What about the gunshot wound on the leg again?" Unfortunately,
Yes, the backside of his legs were never seen, and somebody did come up with a good situation. I don't know how much damage would have been done on his legs versus when he swelled up really bad that it might have partially closed it. And so there's been a few things that the hole itself might not have, you could still bleed quite a bit. That maybe with the swelling you couldn't, but it could have been on the backside. His all of his legs was not, and I didn't think about that yesterday in the live. So it could be on the backside. Body was propped this way, like he was literally laying that way, and then he was only seen on the front. So
Victoria says, I came in when you were talking about the shorts he was wearing. Okay, now this is also a valid point too. I looked at Elliot's video shorts, and he was wearing a pair of shorts similar. Correct, they're very similar to what the this body is wearing. Not the same color,
but they
but
do
similar
sell
design. Yes.
boxing underwears here in the Philippines that are similar to that. So that might have been his undershorts. The last 13 lives he did within a 24-hour period before he was taken, he was in black shorts. So his wife, he might have had black shorts on, and most guys tend not to free ball. And my guess is he had a
Well,
pair
like
of
I said,
boxing
I'm not gonna
underwears
be
under it.
walking outside with my Donald Duck ones. Just saying.
Right. So in other words, it could have just
It
been
could have
in
been
the end just
his night
that.
his go to sleep wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Um,
it's yeah.
Vet's vlog says I felt like when he was in the house, he was scared to speak. Maybe the girl's
Mm-hmm.
father didn't want him talking loud, but he was also quiet outside, but much quieter in.
Yeah. There was inside and out, depending on where they was. It was really odd. He was or just afraid to talk. But the video clip, the clips that we've had, he's very, you know. Now I have the other processed clips of him and stuff, but it's, yeah, there's some-
Which one?
let's see. Let's see, that's the news. That is where he talked about the loan and everything. So it's 1021, and then this one is just showing his.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's fine. We'll throw that one in too for those
Well,
that didn't
I mean,
see
my
it.
bill is waiting shed too. That costed like 15,000 just for this waiting shed.
He was bragging about money
And the roof
amounts.
and everything.
And by the way, they did not have that sorry store.
It's
He
pretty
did
nice.
build that for the family. It was said in the news, that local news here for us in the Philippines. He
Spent
said
15,000
that was
pesos
built for
alone
the
just on this
family.
waiting shed. I'm pretty sure. And then on the solar, the Wi-Fi and the solar, I think I spent a total like 130K or something, maybe 120. Yeah,
I don't know if it's confirmed that he bought Starlink for that.
130,000 pesos. Like being scared here. Dangerous people.
He was always talking about how dangerous it was, how scared he was.
The guy we lent money to, he returned our money. When we lent him 21,400, and he came back with 23,500. Some little extra. We sent him back with 35K. Yeah. Should we see a little bit extra profit off of this? Maybe in 1 month we'll have already 3,500 profits. You know, business income. This guy had a gun. Some sort. There's like so many of them. There's like 4 of them.
He was really paranoid. It was said they were spear fishermen out there. But he was always afraid. He kept saying, or there towards the end anyways, there was a lot of, I know there is somebody after me. I know that they're going to kidnap him. He kept announcing it within a short period of time. And those last 13 live streams are very eerie. It's like he's practically almost saying nothing at all. So that's what I find to be really highly odd, is how he just ran him just to be running him. But he wasn't, it was almost like he was crying for help. I don't know if anybody else has looked at him. Like, it looks like it was, I told George, those last footages that he showed over the last probably month was like Blair Witch or something. There was like how the footage was done, that it was just so odd, so haunting.
yeah, Thaddeus says there's already U.S. government, no travel advisory. Now I did say this again. White Samurai says anyone hoping the body isn't him is actually hoping the body is someone else, which could mean two deaths. Correct.
Which is very
Again,
sad.
it's still a body,
Yep.
regardless of
Yep.
how you'd wish for it to be him or not him. It's still used to be a person, I guess would be a
Yeah,
nicer
and there
way to
is
say.
a lot of bad weather going on.
Yes, too young to
so-
die. Correct. Jack Doe, should we send SEAL Team 6 to kick butt? Correct. Call in Chuck Norris.
They're not, yeah.
Delta Force.
Yeah. Interesting. When did Joy Skipper say the Philippines doesn't owe him an apology? He knows what and where he is to. At some point, the very first video this came out that we discussed when this first happened, I basically said he was an idiot. So I hate to say it, he was. I think my word was bonehead or right off, because he is. And George was like, "Hey," and I'm like, that was just really. He knew it. He returned. He said he knew he was in danger, and that's where people are finding it really odd. You know, we wouldn't wish harm on nobody. He didn't deserve any of this. I've heard that he was naive and all of that from several vloggers. We know that we had the open panel a couple lives back, and I get it, but not so much. I mean, he was even discussing that he was Muslim and multiple wives, and Islam, I can have multiple wives. And when you think about him now being 26 and that she was 17 or 18 when they hooked up, and all of this possibility of the age difference, we knew she was young. Everything that he's done and is traveling, and there's just something and then there's something off on the dude. There's really something off on the dude. But as far as no, Philippines doesn't owe him nothing. There's nothing the Philippines did wrong. This seems to be a crime of passion. That might not have been the guy himself that was involved. It could have just been cousins that got tired of seeing his butt on air making all these. He said a lot of stuff. He really, really, really did. He said a lot of different things that could have rubbed family members wrong
Well, that's
of.
another thing. It may not necessarily be the one that was actually romantically involved. It may be just somebody who knows the guy.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of possibilities, but he made so many different mistakes. There were so many things, but the Philippines, no, not even close. Would even nobody in that area, not her family. I mean, there was videos where he said her family told me not to do this and not to do that. I think the family should have told him he shouldn't be there, and he told stories of how in his wife's classroom at some point there was kidnappings of a kid, and all these things he said happened, and it's like, but he still actually stayed. That's what makes him like off, cuckoo, crazy, something. And there were a few comments that he said he was on the beach discussing something, and he would discuss how the Philippines had issues. And see, I'm safe or something. At one point, it was like he was talking to his family. If you listen, some of it seems like he was talking to his grandparents. I don't think the family wanted him to be there. I'm sure his grandparents would have warned him, but he was just in, Liberia, over in Africa. He had just, I don't know. I don't know.
Tony Manning says he had 4 moles on his chest. If you compare pictures, you will see him. And again, for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, there are pictures and there are close-up pictures that they show more
Yes.
detail. That
And
you
there
won't really
are.
don't see anything on the video. To be honest, you see something,
But
but the
but
photos are the ones that
the
actually show
photos do show this.
the
And again,
details.
the
Yes.
tufts of hair under his armpits are extreme for just being a Chinese guy. Or, I mean, George has got bush, but he's Tillicum everywhere else. But under his arms, it looks like, I don't know. Yeah, Georgie, you don't have much of a man patch under your arms.
Sarah Tyson
They
says
can't grow a
hair
beard.
would grow a bit in a few days. Um. Oh well, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it looked like the person, even with the face swollen, it looked like there was reddish blonde hair on his face. And yes, the thing that Sunshine was talking about, yes, sitting in the water could have caused that, but if it was somebody of color, of any color, it still would have shown. Um, there would have been some indication that it actually was. This guy was Snow White. There was no doubt that it was. And now with the skull being looked at and everything, there's a lot going on, guys.
yeah. Sarah Tyson says this is on USA TV. Victoria says I hope it's not Elliot. And
Mm,
hopefully he's still alive, even though maybe not.
there's a lot of that was a lot of blood in the bedroom, guys. That's the first time I seen it was this morning. I tried to look it up, but until it showed up on the whatever, that's when the photos.
Now, this is also a possibility again. Um, Sarah Tyson says if this is a hoax, I'll make his acquaintance personally.
Mm.
Joyce says Vermont is a beautiful state. But White Samurai says could be a giant publicity stunt gone wrong. Now, this has happened before that they try
Mm.
to do a publicity stunt and then it turns on them.
That was
Now,
my first.
it's possible, but
Yeah, that's my first thing I said. But I mean, here's the thing: can things actually? We know how things can be like. I'd be like, well, how could there be blood all over the floor now? Now that I've seen the photos and outside, they could have gutted a pig and poured it outside in the sand, and they could have splashed it all over the house, like it was on the floor. I mean, it's not exactly a super fancy home that they couldn't replace. It looked to be that fake tile that they roll out.
linoleum.
Yeah, it's like.
It's called linoleum.
Right, but here it's even thinner. It's almost like wallpaper that they put down here, and they put it on the walls, the floors, and everything. So what I'm saying is For them,
Oh yeah,
it
they
wouldn't
did
have.
used to use linoleum in the U.S.
They did, but it was thicker, George. Here, it's some sort of wallpaper, like it's really
Well,
thin here.
there's several grades, but I
They
get
do
your.
have the thin stuff on the floor.
No, I know
Okay,
that.
the
I
whole
know that.
point for that is it wouldn't have been a loss to clean up that blood. Could it have been staged totally? Like, they, just rapidly fired, into the sand outside and then put the casings
Well,
inside.
put pig's
Any
blood
of it.
over.
But I believe if it would have all been that and the FBI was there doing a DNA and whatever, they would have known right away and then they would have said something. But I don't know. This is
Not
good.
necessarily, not necessarily, because even if they know it's not him, for instance, even if they know it's a hoax, they would still keep quiet in hopes they would reveal and catch.
Let the person reveal themselves that did all that.
Correct.
Who knows? That's a far stretch that it was all staged. At some point, it just seemed like there's too much information pointing somewhere else. I'm just trying to figure out how it could have been staged.
Yeah. Boy Scout says if we can take something good out of this, that eventually now knows what not to do in the Philippines. Correct.
Here's the thing: them people still gonna come here and probably still do the same things. I
Do
don't
the
know.
5-6 loans. Oh.
I don't know how many times that these guys keep getting scammed, like when they come here with the ladies and they still do it, or how they make mistakes on walking street. I think the same as this kid, he was going to do what he had to do, and it's like telling a teenager they can't do something, and hey, that marriage is never going to last. Don't do this, and that, and and they do it anyways. They're going to pursue what they're going to pursue. And, you have a couple that'll learn, and even if you could save two or three of them, that's what this channel's always been about. We've known for a fact that the stuff we put out has helped people substantially, and if a few will take heed to what happened and what not to do, it does help. But the bunch of them are still going to do it anyways.
Yeah. In my opinion, says if that body's not him, looks like a hell of a lot like his size, same size. Vlogging Life says his own words, the locals did not like him. Lone Shark and Sari competing with locals. Now, competing is a serious thing. Not because if he was Filipino, again, remember, if he's Filipino, it changes everything. And because again, there's a lot of people again like think, oh, you're stealing business from us. You know what I'm saying? That kind of deal. So, and again, it's some people think that's really wrong and you deserve to get hurt. I'm not saying he did or, deserve or, but what I'm saying, some people will take a step further, like, hey, you can't do this to us, that kind of deal.
Yeah, we said that it was possibly because he was taking business from people. And it's very well possible. It's very, very well possible. Fingerprints doesn't work for a decomposed body. Yes, it's possible they have to go through the DNA, but it can be done. It can be done. I seen where one of his hands looked like it was starting to peel, and because he was in the water, and if the skin peels away, but it can if it's somewhat intact. We don't know. No, as everything in speculation and saying, we don't know if all of his fingers, where the skin is coming off. But being he was in the water, but DNA would be the other thing in his dental. They would go by the form of his dental.
Yeah.
There'll be a way, but I think it'll take time.
In my opinion, says 5-6 lending by a foreigner is dangerous anywhere, and surely a conservative community like that.
Yes, there could be some very strict Muslims that just outright would have been upset with it, knowing it was happening. And
yeah, always me says risky buzz loan shark and Sari competing with locals. Correct. A second one. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lou says they can check dental records. Huh? We already read that.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Yeah, this is world news.
Oh
yeah, and he said they can't keep it quiet.
Okay. Henry Marshall says anywhere near or around those rebel infested areas is a no-go. That's no coincidence. Engelberg says they use DNA if it's too decomposed.
Yeah, I would just do like what I was doing. I started to skip around if it was they were kind of talking or it was a
No,
repeat.
of course not.
So, yeah. Usually we do like to try to go over every single one. So we're just going through them. Oh, I'm so jealous. How are you? Using Filipina P's photo. Yes, we are.
Not really, but anyway.
Right. Right.
Joyce Slipper says he was living in this Islamist terrorist part of Mindanao. He's living in the red zone, yes.
And are you still milking her photo?
Yeah, actually,
Jeez.
yeah, I just said it, yeah. Yakuza Dragon says Mindanao is probably the no-go zone when then, right? Because several say it's a red zone. Now, again, not we're just talking about isolated areas. However, you don't know these areas if you don't live there. You know what I'm saying? That kind of deal.
And we're going to keep talking about this story as long as
However,
something
would
comes
Davao
up
General
on
Santos City in Cagayan de Oro still be safe for any foreigner? Relatively, yes. I say relatively as in, well, yeah, you're relative. We're relatively safe here. What do you mean by relatively? Well, I could walk outside and get run over, that
it.
kind of deal. Yeah, of course. For the most part, yes. These areas that you mentioned here, Davao, General Santos, Cagayan de Oro, yeah, of course, they're relatively safe. Again, but
Right.
like what I said, like for example, Zamboanga, there's certain areas where you probably shouldn't be there. And again, it's one of those things that you really won't know. The locals would know. In fact, again, the locals warned this guy. Okay, the locals did warn him. They said, not to go outside, not to do this. Always have somebody with you. Don't go outside without somebody. Well, actually, yeah, I think she says, um, be afraid if nobody's with you, something like that. Um,
I'm just going through like the questions. Always me. Rest in peace. A lot of side comments where people are talking.
yeah, see, Super Pooper says, I live in Zamboanga City for 12 years, no problems here. Mostly Chavacano people here. The Muslims are on the outskirts areas. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Again, there's areas, which again, unless you actually live in those areas and get warned by people, you really won't know where. And remember, these areas also move. They're organic. Why are they organic? Because people are organic. We move around. Some places the red zones grow bigger, and some places the red zones go smaller.
Mm.
Um.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ted. Hit the thumbs up, everybody. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you so much for your support, Ted.
Yes.
Appreciate you. Sarah Tyson says, personally, FBI was here. Word is personal problem, not terrorist group. I can't get that. Parents not here. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Why didn't they fly over here? That's what Sarah's trying to get at.
Yeah.
Yes.
And no, the Filipina P spelled it as in PEE. Says the Facebook is a reliable source, a reliable news source. Well, of course not, but the Filipinos sure use that, and there's a lot of stuff on there.
Jay Sully says, can you do a recap on what's going on?
That was almost an hour ago, so they probably seen that. We did
Well,
have a live stream the other day. That was quite a bit of information in that, and so you can check out our live streams. The last couple have been that. And yes, once we get on a subject like this and there's something new, we do several live streams a week. We kind of do what's considered, we're not talk radio, but we do talk our things out through mostly live streams. And if there is a subject that's hot, yes, we are going to keep covering it. So we tried to determine if we were, and some other things came up. And George was not here for the last live stream. And so he wanted to be able to put his information in there. And news source, yes, it's possible. There's quite a bit, and I would almost probably believe some of the stuff that goes through there when there's photos and to be able to say, hey, it's part of it or not. There's been a lot of strange comments coming from some people in that area. And that was kind of like when we had the Cebu, situation. A lot of stuff leaked out that way that was actually true. And so, I don't know. It's a lot of people, some of they go through a lot of Facebook accounts when they're checking into murders and all these other things that are going on, and they get a lot of information through comments. And you'd be surprised, guys, what information is used these days. Yes.
Brian says the white Caucasian man was a headline that POS REEKAY started spreading around. He had no proof to back up his statement. He is heartless.
I mean, I wouldn't say he was the start of it. This was clearly on Facebook going around for a little bit. So it's been on Facebook when he put it on. And then, of course, we put it on because we seen it on Facebook. And then REEKAY has that. We didn't do it first. REEKAY released it first, but just decided that looks that's not old footage. So, and we did say in the beginning when we covered it that it's a possibility, maybe, and it's all unconfirmed. So,
Brent's World says, I believe they already know who he is. Probably a few hours after retrieving him, simple, hey, wife, is it him? Yes or no? Done. Probably told her keep her mouth shut, still investigating. Yeah, well, that's why I said it's usually, even if they know it's him, they're not going to say anything.
yeah. Nope.
She tried. Joyce Slipper says, shame on Muslim wife for not protecting him from harm. She tried. She again told him to stay inside. No, well, I'm not
And the
talking about
family
during the
did,
scuffle.
but I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
If like you knew that this neighborhood was dangerous or angelish, you would not leave me here. Same with back in Florida. If I knew that us going down to Miami, I know certain areas. If
Well,
I
you
took
wouldn't
you
be.
in there,
We wouldn't. I wouldn't put you here if this is unsafe.
right? No, I got that, babe. So,
And again, I
and
tell.
her family knew. That's what was the other part. They knew how bad it was for him
That's
there,
also
and he was
important
scared.
to expats like you guys. Again, remember, what's safe for a Filipino may not be safe for a foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
I always remember a lot of Filipinos, unfortunately, if Filipinos with expat partners forget that they're Filipino. And the reason why I say this is because they'll be like, well, no, nothing happened over here. It's safe.
Her family knew.
Yeah,
and
if
she
you're
knew
Filipino, but think beyond the box. Think beyond yourself. Is it safe for your expat partner?
But ultimately, in the end, it was his fault. This was all his own fault.
Well, he was warned several times, and he's aware.
Right, but it cannot just be left on the wife, and it can't be left on the family. It is. I wouldn't even say shame on them for that part. Even if they told him, he still did it.
That's why I said she tried.
And he was
She
still
tried.
stubborn.
But she can't. Like I said, she
on.
probably didn't do it during the scuffle because I don't think she had the ability to. I mean, if four guys show up with, weapons and you're the wife, what can she do?
I want to know where all the threats came in. He constantly said, I've been receiving threats on a daily basis. So were them coming through the emails? Was that people arriving on the beach at the Sorry store? Ex guy standing there staring him down saying, I'm going to get you, dude.
I'm sure it's verbal.
I'm
sure it's verbal.
So you think they were like, I don't know. He said it was happening. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of reading through there.
Sladen House says one doesn't just take up residence in ISIS areas with as a pasty white guy. He caught the attention of someone, was retrieved, and ended up a floater.
No matter what or who it is, sad and terrible way to die unless he was a pedo. But no mother or father should lose their child or family in that way, even if he was. Yeah, I hate to say it. Let the law. That's what I think I was saying the other day. Is even in the worst case scenario, where let's say that the whole town found out. And again, this is just another side conversation. I was telling George this. What if they found out something he did inappropriately with another young girl, maybe another student at the school or something, being she was underage? Let's say it was somebody that was 8 or 9 and they found out. That would have been what would have happened. If they found out that he was side eyeing a young girl on the side, then that would have happened, but he still didn't deserve what he got in
No,
the
no,
end,
no,
even if he was in a full relationship
no.
with a 9 or 10 year old over there. Because remember, in some Islamic groups in some countries, as soon as she menstruates, and that could be at 10, then she's open for marriage in some countries. I don't know what the rules are over there, but maybe other Islamic people had seen it differently if this could have possibly happened, but he wouldn't have deserved it even if they considered that the full option. So it's you know,
Big Colonel says, well, I think he meant, why didn't he leave?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because if that's directed at me, why didn't I leave? Yeah, I feel safe. I just wouldn't have went to that area. I'd go to Mindanao. I would currently still go to Davao City and visit areas northern Mindanao. In a large group, I would possibly consider going to the same beach area he was living. I still feel that confident to go down there, but I wouldn't go to live. I would literally go down there as a day visit, look at the beaches, do a little bit of bird watching with a group of people, just not George. I would actually go down there with us as a van of 7, 8 people, and then I would actually
Whoa.
leave. But I wouldn't do overnights and stay there, and
Yeah.
that's but it's not suggested that you would go. I
Yeah.
mean, it would have to be for a good reason that I would go down there. I mean, just wouldn't be going down there to vlogging. But would I? The answer would be
Well, not to mention a group doesn't protect you.
okay. Well, I'm just saying, I still feel going in a group is better.
Well, a group, yes, I know that, but I mean, yes, going in a group is better, but
Okay,
it still doesn't protect you.
there's a group of bird watchers that is exactly within probably 50 to 100 miles of that area. I mean, they're not exactly running right now. I'm not. I myself, but I would not recommend.
Well, I'm sure they have a guy that says, let's not go past this.
Correct. And I definitely wouldn't stay. A lot of people said that, the danger is only with the bad people that are actually over there. I just wouldn't be staying and
Yeah. In my opinion, says the wife knew it was not cool to loan money for sure. Well, remember,
yeah, they did.
greed overrides wisdom. You know, if they
Mhm.
see money, they see money. Um, Carlos says, so if I come, I need to worry about this. Really? No, we are watching now more than ever. We will not let our people die for nothing. We are men. No, no, I understand again, but remember again, Carlos, that there are areas in any country, Mexico, even in the United States itself, that you should not go into. And he was in one of those areas that he was strongly advised, do not live here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be living down there. I don't care if you're insinuating that you're in that area and that you would let somebody. I think people would not mess with certain people over there, and I'm sure they wouldn't be saying certain things. Every individual group is going to be different.
Well, and then George, again, you have a good point, and it's a good question. Why didn't he leave there?
Yeah, it's
The only thing I can think of is of her, because of her. Like she
yeah.
probably didn't want to leave her
Well,
family.
he was caught on camera stating he wanted to leave. He says, "I
That's
want
what
to
I'm saying.
leave. I have all this money invested." Was his other
The
words. He
only
said, "I have too much money." I
right.
had too much invested.
Well, at that point, he already dug the hole.
Mhm.
I'm talking about money wise. He dug the hole money wise. He kept on investing over there, which made a money pit, literally. But what I'm saying is, I think she was the main reason why he didn't leave. I don't know why, but my guess is she didn't want to leave because she didn't want to leave her family. My guess. My opinion. Always me pregnant. Oh no.
Somebody named Econ further down said the body is not him. So then which white guy is that out there? That would be my next. Who is it? We said that it may not be him.
Mateo, he wasn't flaunting. He was idealistic and autistic. I get that vibe too, but remember, I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know.
But he's saying he wasn't flaunting.
Yeah, he wasn't showing off. That's what he's saying. He's saying he wasn't
Not
bragging.
intentionally.
Right,
Yeah,
not
not
intentionally.
intentionally.
Not
Yeah, that
intentionally.
would have made him
Right.
naive. I agree.
Correct.
It wasn't
He wasn't
intentionally
aware
like
of.
up in the
Yeah.
camera doing this with
Yeah.
rings, and that he knew that he was trying to look like he was bawling. 100%, I agree with that.
Yeah. No.
Unintentionally, he was.
Yeah, I believe too that he's high functioning autistic. I believe. Again, I'm not a professional.
Yeah, he said
so
and autistic or
um
something, but
LG says no one in the outside world cares about this. I don't expect the headline news in the States.
a lot of them said that. Yes, they've lifted him up as a big vlogger, and he was a fairly new vlogger, and um, that's just where it is. And yes, not a lot we're covering except for that he disappeared. Usually, when it just becomes the American disappears from another area, it became some news. Yes.
Yeah, and Joyce again, none of this would have ever happened if he should have followed his guts and left the place and flew back to the States.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to. See, that's the thing. He didn't even have to fly off the States. He didn't even have to leave Zamboanga. He just had to move further north.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's a lot of expats that live in
There was a lot
Zamboanga.
of extreme stuff.
But if he just traveled further north, that's it. That's all you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Judith.
John Mina says Elliot Eastman should have just left that place. It's a very dangerous area with some place south where Abu Sayyaf known for kidnapping. If they can't get money from you, then no more value. That's the reality. There you go.
Mm. And guys, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. I'm seeing there's over 200 people in the room. We cover live streams a couple times a week, and we release videos on things that go on, like when we go to restaurants and little side things. And be sure to do a thumbs up or a thumbs down on this video. And let us comment and let us know what you think about this. We really do want to hear from you. He's trying to go through the comments. We'll put up the comments that are kind of pertaining to this or that are interesting. And on a side note, consider it whatever you want to. We do put the sticker comments up when they come up. We put so if you want your comment to be seen by everybody, then the first thing that pops up, there's a separate section where the stickers come up. Then we'll put your comment up, and it doesn't matter the amount.
Right. Victoria says, as far as I know, hasn't been covered in the Aussie news. I thought it would have been, and given we have many Australians there, right?
Yeah, you would
Right.
think they would. Yeah, because a lot of them like, oh, they only put what's his name's Michael Onstad sticker up because he paid you guys, and it's like, no, what you guys don't understand is on StreamYard, and means we have a few hundred comments right now. It only pops up on StreamYard. It shows there's somebody that's put that out there, so we don't have something that separates us, guys.
Yeah. Brian says, many are talking about this sad, tragic story. Many tend to forget what the loved ones of the victims or family going through.
Curious Vlogging Life. He said fake news, unless
No. He's talking about fake news on how can they identify it's an American because of the body. They can identify as a Caucasian, correct?
The skull shows, and we've had some doctors look that it's a Caucasian.
But right, the
couldn't
nationality, right? That
shows purely. Now, the only thing that would have given away if his face wasn't totally exposed, then you could say, okay, then it is. But that's not an Asian skull. So the Pogo, the Chinese, the Korean thing, now that I think about it, is totally out of.
No. I get it. That's what I mean. But he's saying American.
Yeah. No,
Yeah. That's what he mean by fake news. Yeah. That they found an American. Which again, keep in mind, a lot of people can't distinguish. Just saying.
Yeah, actually, weirdly, like I told George, I said, at the store they just asked me, was I an American? And I'm like, he says, well, they don't know your accent would act. I mean, some would, but yeah, I was like, it's not obvious that I'm an American, big, and, my accent. And you said no. You said sometimes they run the Australian, British, and.
Yeah, well, all Caucasians are clumped as us Americans.
Well, all you Asians look alike. I used to say that all the time.
Yeah.
You said it's kind of offensive to people. I said, But when I first got here, George was literally lost in the crowd. Now I'm starting to
Well,
see
most
faces.
Asians can identify other Asians, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to do that now. I've been here for a couple of years, but yeah. We joked when he was giving out that ice cream that one time out on MacArthur Highway. It was like there must have been about 50, 60 people trying to get the ice cream. And I was like, George, where'd you go? He says, I've been running up and down MacArthur trying to get people to come get the ice cream before it melts.
Yeah. Now, this is somewhat related in a roundabout way. Jay Sully says, "What is a pogo worker?" Thaddeus says it's a slave. George says online gambling. Okay,
Yes,
now
it's
this
Filipino offshore gambling operation.
right,
Pogo.
right, yeah. Now, why is this somewhat related? Because there was or still is. It's also possible that they grabbed Eastman to turn him into a pogo worker because they
Oh,
do that.
snap. There's
They
another
do
level.
do that.
Oh, and I want to let you know, yeah, because right now it's on a separate note. You guys have been hearing it's been in the immigration news. They just found another impregnated woman. They were sending her to Georgia. She had fake documents. So they're selling the women now as pregnant and they're using them as baby carriers. So it's so expensive now for the women to have in vitro and the fertilization and surrogates. They've been finding a bunch here lately, a lot of surrogate mothers already carrying the baby. So I don't know if they're FedExing the sperm over. I don't know what's going on, but they just caught another one heading to Georgia. It wasn't Europe or
Well,
somewhere
they
else.
can cryo freeze it and then ship it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
But
but
like
yes, they. Oh, I never snap. I
yeah,
never.
like I said, they can. Or for instance,
Oh,
again, there are areas where they can trick you. Let's say, hey, looking for American actors or whatever, or
uh,
Caucasian actors.
yeah, that's
Please
why
apply here, and then you go up to this warehouse, and then they
it's really bad
literally
here.
hostage turn you hostage, ship you to some building or warehouse, lock you up, and you're stuck there. You're forced to be a call center person or
Well, I kind
else.
of doubt that'll happen after they actually injure him, but
Well, no, no,
it's
no, 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 no. I
it's
mean, I'm not saying that that's what happened to him, but there, it did
they could have
cross my
grabbed
mind,
one
yes.
somewhere else. There's a lot of
Or
loose expats
or
here.
other way around again, like I said, like for instance, like the guy who hates Eastman knows the guy who works for Pogo and says, "Hey, I got the guy for you. Just give me like
And they could have sent him over
five
to get him.
thousand pesos,
Yes.
and I'll set him up for you." That kind of deal.
Or the guy that, okay, let's say this is only a side situation of it's possibly her ex. They're just saying there's a jealous ex. Maybe he came through and made some threats, and so now he's on the list. But this could have been when, as far as the last guy that got the 35,000 peso loan or got one of the loans from him recently, would have paid somebody on the side to go do that.
Hmm.
So it could have been somebody that's just used their sorry store because there's not one in, a lot of these are spread far out. So maybe that's why he was identifiable, is because he's in the area. But yeah, he could have paid one of
No,
those
no,
to
that was one of the
oh,
original ones that I thought of. Yes,
wow.
but
That
it's
is,
not.
we think the loan is the
It's
issue. We
it's a
said that
lower
from the
probability in the probability
crime.
scale. But remember, these are my opinions as far as probabilities are concerned.
It,
That's why I didn't mention it. But since you brought up Pogo, it is a possibility, a
because
smaller possibility, but a possibility
they're saying he
nonetheless.
struggled, and that's why he was injured. Then maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It still seems a
Second
crime
one
of
says,
passion.
"No censor, bring sexy Rick back."
Nah.
You're too funny.
Actually, I think this Saturday is Ricky, guys. So we may have to move on to the Armstrong topic just for Ricky.
Um,
Uh,
White Samurai says, "I like Heidi and George the way they are. No need to change." Um, I get not suitable for most advertisers when we have this covered. No,
we hear you. We're probably not
we're the
going to
same
get
way.
paid. We know
Yeah, we're
that.
the same way, Brian.
And we're like, there goes a whole $10, $15. Guys, we don't get paid a lot for this. That's why we always appreciate the stickers or our core group that does support the channel. We have a core group and a Patreon and membership that does help. We say, when we truly say it keeps the lights on at headquarters, it does help pay for the stuff we use for editing, and there is an electric bill still. We do additional stuff that causes electricity, and it helps feed the pussycats and provides George's junk food and coffee. And we joke about that, but it's a real thing. We drink a lot of coffee during this. It's a joke. So,
That's
anyways,
what I
yeah,
need. I
they
need junk
could pull
food.
it.
I need
Yes,
salt. White
they
samurai. Yeah.
yeah. So anybody that's covered that, and like I just seen, I think there was another vlogger I just seen it. He flat out showed all the footage, and he went into full details about the Abu Sayyaf and all that. And yes, you'll lose advertisement over that. Yes,
Yeah.
and you can bet we have and did. So
White samurai says tired of listening of pickup techniques from mongers in the Philippines. There you go.
well, we have some videos like that. We may still cover that from now on now, but I still say I want to keep calling it talk radio, and they do have Filipino live streams. That's what they call themselves, but that's not. We talk. We just can't. We don't broadcast the radio.
What? We have a podcast.
No, that is true. So technically, it does go through some of the the pod group situation. Our video tomorrow we're going to release is where we went to I almost called it Ming something.
Huh.
What is the what? Where did we go to eat? Luck Fu. That's pretty
Oh,
yummy.
Ryan. Yeah, that's one of your favorites, right? Luck Fu. Oh my gosh, that's
You
such
can't eat
great
there
food.
you can't eat there too
Oh,
often.
you'll have a heart attack.
I'm not. I mean, we eat a lot of junk food that could cause heart attacks, but
No, Luck
it's a
Fu.
trade off.
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh, that's so good.
not any alcohol and don't smoke cigarettes, but
Yeah, if you're in Angel City, you see Luck Fu.
it's pretty yummy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Now Vlogging Life says he talked about becoming Muslim.
He was Muslim. According to him, he was. His vlogs do mark his name as Muhammad. This is Muhammad, and then he mentioned his wife's
Yeah.
name, and he did convert. He could only convert because, again, he had to be Muslim in order to
Yeah,
do
he had to
Islamic.
convert to get married. Yes, that's
Yeah,
what
I
Slimhouse
mentioned
says,
that in the
yes.
last few live streams. for
Correct,
sure.
sir. Yeah, that would make a great channel name, Becoming Muslim. And no, I checked. There is no channel with that name.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Yes, that's what I did a second ago. Becoming Muslim.
Becoming a bonehead is what I would have done.
Aw.
Oh.
Conversion would have been easy. Both are circumcised.
Yes. Yes. Maybe becoming circumcised ought to become the next channel.
Oh, he said both are circumcised.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I've
Mhm.
been around.
Yeah.
I know who isn't.
Bogie, the one that drives the tricycle. Kikyam. Yeah. For those of you who don't know what a kikyam is, you're lucky. Because if we're talking about, your little dingaling, and I say kikyam,
now watch.
you know what I'm talking
Hush.
about.
We've been talking about all this and probably currently aren't, and then you saying that will get us, and then I'm like, what?
Kikyam? Kikyam is a little dumpling, just so you guys know. Anyway.
What?
Vlogging Life says, I think it's clear the whole family was keeping him safe as best as they could do. Yes, they were. They did try. They did try. Joy says he should have remained Christian. Like I said, I think he did everything for the girl.
Yeah. That's just where it is, people.
Any advice on how to avoid being kidnapped on the Philippines? Well,
We've been talking about it, dude.
Don't go in red zone.
And honestly, there is no guarantee. There is no guarantee practically in anywhere in the world right now. Do you realize how many people disappear and are kidnapped in the U.S.? Hundreds and hundreds. 58,000 cases.
What state
or
was
something.
it? Arizona?
Arizona is the worst state in the United
Arizona is
States.
the worst
You guys think
place
you're
to
kidding?
live in.
I'm going to tell you right now, and
for
I
that kind of
truly
stuff.
mean it, you're in more danger in the U.S. than you are in the Philippines right now.
Well,
Except for it's cheap
starters,
here.
most Westerners are bigger, which means they need more people to drag your butt over.
I already said that. I already made a joke. I said they wouldn't have grabbed on to me. That is for sure. For multiple reasons, but, George knows I'd have been like, you're going to have to just do it, man, because you're not taking me away.
Mr. Mendoza, who took your wife? Oh, it's easy. Look for the 4 guys with broken backs.
He did say that. You can have George. Take him to the pogo right now.
Oh my gosh. Let's see.
And that'd have been
What?
that'd have been it. You're like, how do you want to take this?
Hey, I strive to be the best, so just saying. Anyway,
So do I. That's probably why I wouldn't have left for multiple reasons. You'd have been, hey, look, it'd have been like this. It'd have been like this, or it'd have been like this.
right.
And either way, I wasn't gonna leave. And he's right. Look for the 6 guys with broken backs, and I'm proud of that. Go for it. And then we'd have put then we would have done this. George has been putting baby oil on me for the last since this incident happened. He says, I said, why are you putting so much oil on me? I said, you taking me to a Diddy party? And he's like, no, I just want to make sure they're not able to snatch you up. Slippery.
Seriously, are we going to talk about the fair now?
What? No.
Anyway.
Yeah, we ain't going there.
All right, going there. Tetraka says it's some kind of Rito. His wife is very strange one too. How I thought that was very odd too. How they both talked about the kid. That
Yes,
kind of
that's
stuff.
what's odd.
So casually, yes.
No,
yes.
They sat there and she goes, no, I can't. And it does. They've had several of these conversations. That's why I initially thought they had set this up, because he kept announcing they're coming to get me. Guys, think about it. Who wouldn't in their right mind? That's probably why the FBI wanted to at least go there and talk to him. They're not in doing the investigation, but they're like, I was like, here, let's listen, Frank. Today we are going to go down and see what's going on down there. What's really going on? I mean, think about it. Could you imagine a conversation? They probably, when they left after talking to family, they got in the car and they said, this guy's a goner, man. This guy's gone. And there's like, they probably even thought that too. Man, what a bumpkin. What happened? For the whole situation. But so many times they casually discussed, and he seems serious, that I've been threatened to be taken. They're going to take me. I'm going to be kidnapped. It was just like a constant thing. But now that I know she's exactly 18, how much, and she's been raised down there, there's a difference of a city person and country folk. And especially if they're that far out and that naive, both of them.
Well, they're both kids, for sure.
You can add another 5 years to somebody up in the city. But it's, no. So I'm sure they thought I could not imagine that car ride up and out of there, or SUV ride up and out of that area with the FBI guys. There was 3 or 4 of them. Could you imagine? You going to tell me they sat there the whole time just riding? Frank, you ain't going to say nothing? Nah. Still no?
Yeah.
You know that'd have been true still.
Yeah. Lou says, again, Homeland Security and FBI investigate. No, they do, and they are there again. For the most part, that's what they do, yes. Now, this is actually a good statement. Carlos says, I thought the village was supposed to protect the family. Now, here's the problem. And actually, Brian actually said it himself. He says, converting not hardcore Muslim communities in the Philippines do not want outsiders. See, that's the problem is the community didn't see him as part of the community. They looked at him as an outsider.
And let me tell you something else I found weird is being around Muslim community and being married to 2 Muslims at one point. Not at the same time, but anyways, let me get to the point here.
Talk about Dole Haram, but anyway.
That's what I always wondered. I questioned that and I got slapped at the mosque, man. And they never let me back. Why can't I have multiple husbands? And then, and she can't ever.
Technically, that's a fair question. If the guys can have multiple wives, why can't the wives have multiple husbands?
Would you like the answer to that and what he told me?
Did you really ask?
Oh, of course I did. You know I did. You know what I asked the priest the other day too.
Okay, what did they mom say?
Prove he's God? Can I get some DNA?
Did you talk to their mom?
Yes.
Okay, what did their mom say?
He said that if you married me and my brother and you added in my cousin, and you spent one night in this bed and one night in the next bed, the next night in the next bed, then who's the father of the child that you're actually carrying. No, it does come down to the
No,
children.
I
And the
saw that
child
coming, but
must actually, yeah, no, that's actually the realest answer. But yeah, you just ain't sharing the same woman for multiple reasons. But
mm,
that is the biggest reason he gave. So, but I kind of felt uncomfortable when he actually said all the above. So if it's me and my brother,
right. Yeah, we have a
cousin,
list just in case.
oh, that
Um,
here next. Here, hold on a minute. Um,
Joyce says, stay away from the Philippines. Well, I wouldn't say that, Joyce. Again, in all fairness, doesn't matter
no,
what country you're in. There's always a no-go zones.
Yep.
You know,
That happened in Florida. That happened in Mexico. That happened in the UK. It happened in Egypt, Canada.
it's
I'm
kind
gonna
of
tell you,
like,
there's always been. You're
yeah,
either a traveler, you're not. You're either smart or you're not, and eventually your luck runs out. And what I was gonna say is, next time I'm gonna update the banner here that scrolls down there. I'm gonna say we're gonna say what you're thinking.
mm,
That's pretty much true. A lot of you guys won't admit that there's a lot that's going through your head. The difference is, I'm gonna say it, and that's it, it's all true.
yeah. And like I said, like it's a good example would be New York. New York usually gets a bad rap in movies, but everybody knows there's lots of beautiful and safe places in New York. You know. Tony Manning says, "Do you still have the pic?"
Yes,
Yes, yes,
yes.
yes. But obviously, we're not going to show any of that.
Well,
Um,
did he say further up there? There are some. It says notice that two of his teeth are missing freshly. Could have been knocked out.
yeah,
Whatever. If that was really the rifle butt that hit the back of his head at some point, maybe he was already halfway there. Maybe it was a last minute thing to actually just finish him. Anything could have happened, guys. I'm really like thinking what possibly could have happened, but they might have actually hit his face several times trying to finish him, being he was already bleeding out. It's hard saying.
yeah.
And I don't know what the next part. Hey, Cedric.
Well,
Good morning.
yeah, and that's actually I was talking about you, Cedric, earlier again. Again, here's Cedric from Zamboanga del Norte. Again, um, good morning from Zamboanga del Norte. Again, remember, guys, all he had to do really is move further north from where he was. It would have changed everything. Not all of the Philippines is bad. Not all of Zamboanga del Norte is bad. It's just certain areas.
And it might not have been, it might not, I mean, heed the warnings. I hear you, heed the warnings. It's bad people. Those were just bad people.
Yeah, yeah, and
And his
again,
actions is probably what got him in trouble, not the people. There are some cases, and you don't want to put yourself in any of those actual 20 different risks that you're taking. He seemed to be like all the risks were on the table for him. So maybe if he just would have stopped something and still been there, he might have been fine, being other things have slowed down. But he was really he. It was like he cast like seven different fishing poles at once, and if he'd have just cast that one fishing pole, he might have been all right, maybe two. But he had the whole beach full of fishing poles, possibly. He was like the red flags were up so bad. So was it possible that he could have just went there and lived? Yes, but because he had been there for a while, evidently something actually just went wrong. And I'm not sure what Brian he said. He goes, "Where did you hear this news?" And I'm not sure one of the
yeah, we're
statements.
not sure which one. Yeah, sorry about that, Brian. Mike says it's different in the Philippines with age gap, which yeah, age difference. Yes.
Hmm.
Dr. Emmett says 3 weeks of neighborhood warnings. Everyone knew it was inevitable. No, again, if local people are warning you,
Okay,
listen.
he's talking about we were discussing the law. Okay, so that's what I mean. Islamic law. That's what I mean, babe. I'm pretty sure regardless, the Filipino, you still have to abide by the rules. Now, I know that there is some difference to that, to marriage, like applying for marriage license and who's considered married and what you can use for certain things. But I'm pretty sure sticking to with that age gap, there was still a problem.
Well, like I
So,
said, if the parents sign off on it.
Okay, so that's what I'm
That's
trying to.
what I was trying to get at. Um, Joyce says, thought the Philippines were Catholic. Well, before, this is past, because now Filipinos are everywhere. I'm talking about everywhere in the world and everywhere in the Philippines. Before, again, for example, in Pampanga, where we're at, only Pampangueños existed here. I mean, there's rare that some Bisaya would show up, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna. Rosa, go ahead.
Um, so even in school, they taught in Kapampangan. Okay, now they speak in Tagalog. But anyway, before everybody you spoke to spoke Kapampangan, and that's it, because everybody kind of didn't really travel that much back then. And the reason why I'm saying this is because back then the Catholics stayed mostly, of course, wherever their regions are.
Uh-huh.
Muslim kept usually staying in their regions. Okay, now
Yes,
you're like, well, okay, what does this have to do with anything? The further south you go, the more Muslims they are. The further north you go, the more Catholics are. You're like, okay,
Mhm.
why? Because again, Philippines was a Spanish colony, but they mostly inhabited the northern islands, and that's why there's more Catholics in the north part of the Philippines. And the further south you go, you ever heard of this guy called Lapu Lapu? If you play Mobile Legends or whatever, Lapu Lapu is this great warrior who fought the Spaniards, yada yada yada. That's further south. I remember the story of the, you know, basically the further south you go, the more resistance the Spanish had, and therefore there's more Muslims in the south. Okay, so but now there's Muslims everywhere. There's Catholics everywhere. Okay,
Mhm.
in fact, Zamboanga del Norte, actually Cedric's there with us. Um, Zamboanga del Norte is a, I put air quotes because again, predominantly Catholic,
Yeah, there's still. I'm
and
saying there
again,
are Christians down there. In
right,
the
the
area.
most common language over there again is Chabacano, which is Spanish. Well, it's a form of Spanish. But what I'm saying is again, remember they're at where it happened. They're at the lip of Zamboanga del Norte, where it's close to the Muslim islands. Well, sorry, Muslim radical islands. You know, Sulu, Solu, Holo, that kind of stuff. Basilan. So, just to answer your question, um,
Brian, I will answer that because I do have the answer. You can put Brian there. Religious religious laws do not apply to Americans or other expat. It is against the law to marry and date a girl underage, and I will agree with that. I want to read what's actually here. It's the Muslim law. I'm really unsure of if it reigns over that, but you're saying that all of that doesn't apply to the expats. Okay, so I actually um, that I understand now at this point. The legal minimum age to marry in the Philippines is 18 for both men and women. There are some exceptions. According to the Philippine law, Muslim law, or the personal status, Muslim law does change it. Girls can marry as soon as puberty. I did say that, but no younger than 12. So me saying 10 might have been, but it does say the Republic Act 11596 prohibits child marriage, and it does impose penalties. But it does say for the Muslim, they must get court permission. So I doubt they might have. That
well,
would
that's also
require.
why I said
He
we're
said that he
we're
married
not
her.
sure if the marriage was valid, meaning if they actually went to court over it, or they just did the ceremony.
Well, either way you look at it, I'm saying there is a problem. He was definitely with a 17-year-old at some point. None of this has been brought to light. I can't say. Maybe she really is over 18.
Well, yeah.
Unconfirmed. Well, she looks awful young to me. But so, Brian, I will agree when it comes to the expats, we've always said, like the Americans, when we talked about dating, it doesn't matter. She needs to be over 18. So if it was a slip of the words, I apologize, and I'm glad you brought that up, Brian. But yes, I just looked it up. But yeah, but
Yeah.
that's where I get confused on the Islamic law, and maybe there's a lot of times I have things in my head I don't. George knows I don't fully put out there, and I skip through the sentences. I don't know what the Islamic law is with the Filipinos themselves. But when you do add in an expat, to be clear, she must be 18. So,
Well, yeah.
yeah. And if it is Islamically within the community, but I don't, the only thing I didn't know is if it changed if he was an expat. So,
Yeah. Timothy says maybe the rope found on the leg of his body was a tourniquet after getting shot, which it's actually a very good point. It could be. Could be. That would make sense. Yes, it would make
that was
sense.
an actual really good.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, and Boy Scout says again there are 7,000 islands in the Philippines. Mindanao is just one of them. Just pick another island. Well, not necessarily. Again, there's certain areas. Yeah.
You can put the Filipino P up as long as.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
says
like the name.
he charged interest on loans. A no-no in is a. Well, okay. Now I'm not picking at him or the family or anything like that. These are not die-hard Islamic people, and what I'm saying is they did a lot of things that most Islamic people will not do. For instance, she's on TikTok, or I mean, she's on YouTube. Actually, was she on TikTok?
Yeah,
Yeah,
when they first met, she was
correct.
covered and on her
Yeah,
Facebook,
and
but
then
she's fully
she,
uncovered with her hair and some of the things she's doing and
yeah,
dancing
you
in the
don't see
camera.
her with a hijab or anything like that. So
Most of the time.
they're not
That's an
hardcore
observation.
practicing
Yeah.
Muslims. No.
Yeah.
Um,
That I can actually say I was really shocked because I've been around people that will drink beer and do these things. It's totally haram and not acceptable according to Islam, but there's people that practice religion that do things all the time. That's actually
yeah, I
odd.
mean, I
But
know,
her, yeah, she also wasn't. It seems to be during their courtship, like the days where she was sending him photos, and you see his Facebook at the beginning. She was covered most of the time, but after he was there, maybe that upset people. That alone might have upset some guys where they made it their business. I know they made it their business in Egypt and other countries with Muslim women, and so everybody would look out after everybody's cousins, and if her scarf would slip, you can assure that they would say, hey, or you're slipping. Family
yeah.
looked out for family there regardless.
Always
Here
me
we don't
says,
go.
is Angel City most secure? No. If I were to say, if I had unlimited cash on me, and say where would I go in the Philippines? Because of my expat wife, I would go to BGC.
I don't want to spend your money.
If I had unlimited cash. Now, okay, then you're like, why are you in Angel City? For a lot of reasons. One, this is where I grew up. I'm very familiar with the area, even certain bad areas. And also my family is here too, so I have a lot of family support, which is actually key in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But is it most secure? Well, again, as I said,
Anything can happen anywhere.
as far as weather is concerned, this is probably one of the more safer ones. I would think. Okay, and from history wise, it's proven so far. It's kind of like Orlando. It's like the Orlando of Luzon. Like Orlando is kind of like in the middle as far as real storms or anything like that. It stands.
Yeah, so it feels safe enough, but things happen. People, we tell them about late night going to the ATMs or not watching what you're doing. Still, you won't be flashy here. You could get pickpocketed. You could get your phone snatched. People do get injured, killed, the whole 9 yards. Don't get me wrong. They're same as probably living, in certain parts of Florida, certain parts of New York.
Brian
No
asked,
issues.
where did you see her age?
Gotcha. Where did I see her age? Um, I never said that I could see her age. I'm just trying to remember how many articles. So, yeah. So I have to state that I cannot show birth certificate, or do we know that she's not? This is in reading. This is not by document, Brian. So that I will say.
No, I think that's
And
what he wants to know. Where did you read it?
oh, I don't know. So many Facebook articles that are saying so many different
Okay,
expat
so
comments.
Facebook. It came
Yeah.
from Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
And
that's,
from the TikTok, it
yeah,
shows her in school and stuff. So there's many
yeah.
different things. It is a put together from everything that she was and is only turned 18. So.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I mean,
And I believe the recent thing was her birthday party where they're holding the cake and they went to that resort. That was her 18th birthday. I think it's on the actual cake, Brian.
right, right.
So
That's what I mean. So it's on Facebook. It's on
mhm.
Facebook. Yeah, I think that's what he was
The photo that I
just asking.
have shows that she's holding her
Yeah.
birthday cake, and I believe that's where it was discovered. So
Now this is a golden rule. This is a
and again,
rule.
this is all
Yeah.
talk and
Yeah.
everything.
Well,
Everything's unconfirmed and
well, like I said, I think he was just asking where did
yeah.
you see
So
it. I
birthday cake, her
I
most
think
recent birthday.
I think he's just saying like where did you see it.
Yeah.
Tetrate says again, never give loan or utang to anyone. Golden rule in the Philippines. Correct. This is a rule you should follow. And if you do it, remember, any utang or loan is not utang or loan. It is a gift. You will never get that money back.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There are very honorable Filipinos too that will pay you back. But as a general rule, no. Because first off, again, you're an expat. You're a foreigner. In all probability, the ones that do pay you back, that the type of Filipino that will pay people back on their loans, are not the ones that's going to approach you. Put it that way. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? The honorable ones, in all probability, are not going to approach you unless you grew up with them and they've been your buddies for years. You know what I'm saying? Then yeah, they'll probably approach you. Yes, but if they just met you, they're not. Um. Yes. Also, this is another thing. The boy was talking too much about his money and how much he was spending. Never do that anywhere. Correct. It doesn't matter where. Don't do that. Samsag says, I'm sure his loan sharing had partners because he didn't speak the language. Well, I think that's his wife that did that for him. Because reading between the lines, she really didn't leave him alone. Reading between the lines. And again, I believe she did that to protect him. Mike says, the Philippine people also automatically think that a foreigner is rich, correct?
Mm-hmm.
White Samurai says Heidi and George are practically a multinational corporation. I like that. It makes sense. Um, Slayton House says, I'm sure it was mostly about the money, cutting into local business or something. Yeah.
Okay, so
The guys came in after
Right.
him, had.
right here, and that's where,
That's his 18th birthday? Or 18th birthday?
according to them, it was. So yeah, there's a full video a couple weeks ago, which would have been in September.
Oh, wow.
She turned 18.
They're at a resort.
Yeah. So she's holding her birthday cake. So that's where it was said that was. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's recent. Yeah.
it's a couple weeks ago. It was in September. She
That's
turned
recent.
18,
Yeah,
so
that's recent.
why.
Yeah.
That's where it was. It's actually
You can tell it's recent because of their age. I
Well-
mean, they look exactly
well
the
right
same.
here. It's 3 weeks ago. It says it 3 weeks ago.
No, I know
Celebrating
that.
her.
Yeah.
So there's a video in YouTube that states it.
Yeah.
So unless they're not and she's not, then she's not. But that's where. Yeah. So
Filipina B says, "Where are your beautiful cats?" Good question.
sleeping, I'm sure.
Yeah, where are they? They're usually all over the place. Slayton House says someone sent them.
Someone sent what?
Those guys.
Possible. Hmm.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, vlogging life, I agree with you. No foreigner should go in the Philippines to start a business or in any way compete with the local charitable. Great, but no self-serving of the backs of others' dreams, struggling in to survive. Yes, correct. I agree. Carlos says, "Let's hope he comes home alive." We're still hoping. Yes. Aw. Second one says, "Seeing the Paul mug. Don't forget. Send Paul get well soon wishes."
Yes,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
sure that
Yeah.
he's.
Hope you get well soon, Paul. Yes. Paul. Yeah. Vet Vlog says, "Love you guys, everyone. Let's like the video." Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. RLB says, "I've gone to Mindanao 6, 7 times in the past 5 years. I love it there, and but my girlfriend won't let me go to Zamboanga because of the Muslims. She always tells me it's not safe. Always me says that's Paul Old Dog. Yes, it is. Um, Second one says yes. Paul is recovering from his cataract surgery. Ooh, LG, LG, slicing and dicing as always. LG says, so he's a pedo? Yes, I'm going there. Sorry.
Oh, well, it's unconfirmed. Anything could have upset them, and like I said, the only thing I wouldn't have known is whether it was actually. But if he, so you're saying the 18 doesn't matter at that point? It would have been somebody underage, or there still has to be a.
Well, the parents, if they sign off, they sign off.
He become famous.
Who's that?
Um,
It looks like Google.
looks like it's yeah, it does. It's a
Yeah, it looks like one of our
masseuse.
cats.
Yeah, showing a cat. I'm looking up some information about her.
Second one says, I love my cataract surgery. Um, Caveman C says, George, there's a lot of uneducated people out there that are very smart and intelligent. They're not dumb because they haven't been educated for. No, no, no. I get that too. Yeah. And remember, when I say things, remember I always oversimplify things, and sometimes I state if I oversimplify or overgeneralize. But remember, that kind of deal. Kind of like 5'6". It's really not a 5'6" loan because somebody like again analyze it. No, 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 no. It's just a title, guys. We did not make up this name of the loan. It's just what they call it. Philly in the Philippines says, let's not smear this guy's names with accusations or he was with his wife while she was underage. There's no proof of this.
No proof. Oh, I wouldn't say we're smearing his name. We just said that she.
No, I think he said talking to LG. Because LG is
Yeah, I mean, everything is unconfirmed for sure.
Yeah, but it's just odd. I mean, that again, that he had a 18th birthday party recently. Not him, but his wife. But again, remember,
Okay, so
if the parents sign off on it in the Philippines, it's okay if the parents agree.
Yeah, but that shows she was still in high school. Right there, started Zamboanga del Norte, gives a date, high school, on her Facebook.
No, I got it.
So he says that he has been there, and according to all the newspapers, they've been married for 5 months. This shows she was in high school.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but like I said, it was condoned by the parents, so
Yeah.
In their culture, it's okay. Keyword in their culture. Wendy says, oh, sorry, second one. I just saw that. Second one says I look pregnant. Wendy says, why do foreign vloggers like Becoming Filipino make total false videos saying that Sulu is beautiful and safe? And again, that's why Kulas gets criticized because he does say things similar to this statement. Yes. Boy Scout says it's a crime of passion or business or political. Brian says, now, Brian is not the only one who says this, just so you know. Brian says, because becoming Filipino had armed guards with him.
Hmm.
And Simon says, say AR style weapon. That's probably the best way to say it. AR style weapon, correct. Um, Diego says that guy knew where he was going. There were warnings to avoid going there. Yes. Aside from this, he was really sharing his surroundings, which is so silly. He was putting himself at risk.
And this shows about what he said. He said he's been here somewhere on and off for the past year, and it shows here where um, it shows where they had a photo together, but the date only shows September 23rd, which is about a year. Um, so still would be anything's possible.
Wendy says, but he never mentions he has cards. Of course, he's not going to mention that.
It's a lot of things vloggers don't mention
Yeah,
that
there's
are
a.
actually going
Thank you.
on
I
the
was going to say that.
backside.
Yes.
They make it look fully easy on what's going on, and there is still a lot going on in the Philippines, guys. It's not for everybody. That is for sure.
Yeah. Boy Scout says it could have been, taken for ransom, but he expired in the boat, so no ransom. Um, no. Again, I don't know where the cats are. They're probably asleep. Actually, I know where they are now because was looking over there. There's this shelf that they like to sleep in.
Yeah, they put
But
over there.
we have a like a little curtain over it, and that's why I can't see them. But I guarantee you that's where they're at. Yeah. There's no ransom demand. Mike says no ransom demand because there's no proof of life. Sorry, but I feel Elliot's not coming back. Wendy says he is deceiving people for his own personal gain. He tries to trick the ears of Filipinos. There's no facts or evidence of he is alive or dead. Everything is pure speculation, not informing.
Yes, that is what several people are saying. Yes,
Oh, that's a good point.
and that is true.
Was Elliot half Liberian?
Oh, I don't know. Liberian is African, which is all a possibility. It's not to say
Not necessarily.
her.
Not necessarily.
He made one trip that looked to be his grandparents, possibly. I don't know if it. He just said he was traveling.
Yeah.
So, but that's another.
Vlogging Life says he said in the videos he was a fast runner. Well, guess they watched that one and made sure they took the leg. Justin Rogers says finding love in the wrong places. JJ says I'm Filipino but never going to Mindanao because of terrorists, NPA, and Abu Sayyaf. Well, in all fairness, both factions are in certain areas in several parts of the country. Um, not as active in or I guess prominent, I guess would be the word. But even in you um no, we're not gonna do that. Maybe Heidi and George should fly down Zamboanga and interview some locals. This would put your news channel in a whole. Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not
Right,
real. First off,
Okay. I'll get my way down there.
Right. Well, in again, that's also another reason why I don't want to leave this area too. Because the farther away you are from Luzon, the farther away it's hard to communicate. The reason
Well,
being is because
that's
not everybody in the Philippines speaks Tagalog.
further away you can protect me. You can't stop this train. And there's no
Nobody,
Jollibees
nobody,
down there.
nobody can
You
stop this
can't
train.
stop. You can't stop this
Nobody can stop
train.
this train.
Someone punch me in my nose, and there's not a good
Yeah,
doctor to
I
follow.
can't stop this train. No, what I'm saying is again,
Stop this
I
train.
even
I
told Heidi is
wanna get
again,
off.
the farther away we are from Luzon, the harder it is to communicate with people because again, not everybody speaks Tagalog. Not everybody speaks Tagalog. You know what I'm saying? I speak Tagalog in Kapampangan here in the Philippines, but well, obviously Kapampangan is a local dialect, which means only people that's from this area understand it from Pampanga. And Tagalog, again, a lot of times they don't speak it down there. Chavacano, same thing. Chavacano, most there's a lot of times they don't speak Chavacano either. Um, that's the problem with the Philippines. Every little area has its own little, you know, language. And sorry, I only know two. Um, LG says I'd be very vengeful if some foreigner came in and took my. Well, yeah, I guess took your wife. Yeah, again. No, again, I was hoping that's what it was. I just hope it's a brain dead prank, cause
Yeah, because that
yeah,
seemed to be where it was heading, guys,
yeah,
initially. Just the way he kept. The thing that goes away is if I sit here and start now and say, I think I'm going to be kidnapped. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be kidnapped all the time. Or if I keep saying things way in advance, and when I disappear, you guys will be like, oh man, that was a setup. She did that just to, it would really seem that way. But
yeah. Joyce says should have found an American Christian girl in Vermont. Actually, he could have found a Filipina in Vermont. Just saying. I mean, they're there too. Roger Clark says, why did he stay? He had money. He could have trekked out of there. Again, he didn't want to leave his wife. I'm pretty sure that's the reason why. He didn't want to leave his wife.
oh, sunburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he learned that real quick.
He says if her ex-boyfriend was a headhunter, he was probably just after her little head.
Snap.
Actually, Jago says, okay now. These kinds of YouTubers, vloggers who travel around the world going dangerous places, they said nothing happened to them. It's just pure luck. Warnings on the news are there for reasons. Now, there are ones that are again lucky that again they actually honestly truly go in certain dangerous areas and nothing happened to them. And there are some where something dangerous happens to them, they just decide not to mention it. You know what I'm saying? So yes, there are the lucky ones and there are ones that mask it, you know. Second one says he's the age of my oldest daughter, young adult. Yes, they're still kids. Yes. LG says I thought the Boombays had the market on 5-6 loan sharks. They do angels. Well,
It's a good possibility he cut into somebody's business. It has been said. It has been said.
me Bombaya. That means you got loan sharked when they say me Bombaya. Yeah, no ransom. There has been a ransom.
And that's one of the biggest reasons the news here doesn't think.
Caitlin says I knew him from a young age. My brother was one of his best friends. This is all so crazy, and we all anxious here in Vermont for answers,
Answer.
right? No, it's really hard to get any answers. And again, even if they did have answers, they usually don't say anything. Diego says he was starting with his YouTube channel, but he really shared too much about his surroundings. Well, I don't think it's the YouTube that got him as far as where he's at. I think they already knew where he's at. I don't think these are far off locals. I think these are locals that did it to him. Brian says, let's get the term correct. It appears to be a white male. No proof it was a white male. Huh, that's interesting. Well, I don't think so, Second Wing, because most of the time he's alone. Like, he does it inside the house. Second Wing says, I'm wondering if he's just pointing the camera at himself, doing lives, waiting for someone to join. Oh, I see, and bring up a convo. You mean like right now, like you guys are interacting with us. I see what you mean. So maybe that's what he's trying to do, but I don't know. I don't think it was very. It didn't work for him. No. Um, this day and age, mental maturity happens at 20 and 30. In my opinion, I'm old and matured younger. No, 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 no. I agree with you, Doc. Again, well, I would say that's probably the age I got mature to. But yeah. Bert says he's in a bunker and he's watching all of us that are interested in his whereabouts. Uh,
Yeah,
it just gets juicier. Lots of expats and foreigners are liking this outbreak's fire starting. Um, FBI and PNP knows it, but too early to broadcast. Oh, that's he's Bert is going on the it's a hoax side. Um, Captain Matthias is asking where did the Back to the Future poster come from?
it was a Christmas present. As always, everything that we love, Lazada. Lazada. Da, da, da.
Yeah, right. No, I don't. I agree. I don't think it is. Brian says the case of
Yeah,
American
Santa
national Elliot
Zucco.
Eastman is not a case of kidnapping or ransom, according to presidential peace advisor
Yeah,
Carlito
they've
Galvez.
been. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice poster. He wasn't well. Just watch his channel, poor kid. No, no. Again, it's
Um, that I would just go through any of them that are here.
where.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying they're still. You're starting to go through every one of them, and we have to. This it's
Um, no, Tony, I agree with you. I don't think he has enough money to go back home. Correct. Even though he wanted to.
there's a good chance that
Yeah. White Samurai says, "Good insight, George. The ex-husband could be the patsy." Um, Tony Manning says, they had been freshly knocked out. You could see the holes where the teeth was. He's talking about the missing teeth.
well, the ones that are there does appear to have the gap too. There's so many different things going on.
Now, the Facebook thing, that was their post as far as the 18th birthday. Somebody says, is Facebook a reliable source? No,
No, this babe, I already read that earlier.
yeah.
So that was on there before I said that. No, this is it's an hour and 20 minutes behind. So no, a lot of these might not even still be even in the room. But no, babe, that was something. A lot of things.
Always me says, let's make Philippines great again. Walter Brown says vloggers like Becoming Filipino, one travel exclusively in Mindanao. I always wonder how they do it. So no, well, No, they travel majority, yes, Mindanao, but Commander Dawat and Kulas have been here and they have traveled Luzon. Both of them have. Yes, Samsag says the Department of Tourism uses them. Correct. Yes, I believe they're. This is speculation, and again, it's unproven that Commander Dawat and Kulas work for the Department of Tourism. However, their friend Finn Snow is and publicly states he does work for the Department of Tourism. Oh dang. Ted says you have to be smart enough to accept advice. Hmm. Yeah, that's true. She's still a baby, kind of hard to blame her. Maybe parents should have been more stern. Well, like I said, there's only so much you can do. Nagai Vape says, in my opinion, it's on him. He had the warning. He even felt unsafe. His choices. People need to stop looking at him like a person that was in the U.S. U.S. laws, rules, etc. don't apply. Yeah, no, no, no. I agree with you, David Z. David Z says I think the threats were probably communicated. Oh, I see. You're saying indirectly. In his videos before he went back to the U.S. in May, he was saying that he wanted to go fishing.
The policeman was going
A
to take him
policeman was going to take
fishing.
him fishing. Mm.
Kind of missing that. In other words, the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what
Yeah, I'm
that
not
meant.
sure.
Yeah. Sarah Tyson says I don't think he was mentally older than his child bride. Yeah. Um, Ikan Masin says he
I'm
lived there
still
for
now
5 to 6
officially
months.
stuck on the her being super young, but I have to go by footage when she said she was in high school. Could she be like what's his name's wife that just looks really young? The answer is yes, but her sister also looks super young that just got married, and there's been several things that. So all I was saying is if it's a possibility, that's another situation. Didn't say that it is, and that he has broken any laws either. So
Right. Well, Ikan again, it's not that what he did. He was not greedy. He's normal like anybody else. He doesn't have a job, so he needs some kind of income. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not a healthy job.
yeah.
5'6" is not a healthy job even for a Filipino. Filipinos who do this kind of line of work disappear too. Victor C says, Heidi, did the victim have any domestic pets?
Oh,
They had crabs.
yeah. I
I'm not
mean,
joking.
there's a bunch of cats everywhere,
Yeah,
so
there's stray cats and there's crabs all over the
and a
place.
crap load of dogs on the beach and different things. But
But
yeah.
inside the house, I don't think they did.
All right. So just a hater actually come through and said, "I've seen those pictures. Those dental do not match his gap. There's gaps in there. His gap wasn't that big. I mean, we looked at that this morning and zoomed in. There's gaps in those teeth. So his gap was not big like Madonna's. You seen the gaps in the teeth this morning, correct? It's good. Like I say, we hope not, but I mean, there's several theories. Okay, if it's not, then it is another white man's body. It's still another body, and without any medical treatment, there's no way he survived the amount of blood as we discussed in the previous live stream. And so now it has been probably, and is a recovery at this point. So, yeah, I'm just going to the bottom to.
Ted says wife should be hiding because she knows who did it.
Yeah, there was people saying that the family
Chosen
had
one says,
idea.
right, Ted. Yeah, no, again, remember, one of the guys didn't have a mask on, so they knew who he was.
Victor said, George, will you inform us when there is a Wikipedia page on him? There probably will be eventually. He'll just come up as a missing person. They seem to do a page on that for sure. So, Philippines and Beyond's in the house. Further down, he says, I think the wife's family got rid of him once he started running out of money. And we said at the beginning that he did say he spent all of his money. And there is a point in his own vlogs, he did make a mention that he really wanted to go, but he felt all of his money's invested. When he's been there during the past year, he's only been married 5 months to her. He did say he went back to make money. He came back to marry her and everything. There was a bridal price, and for the wedding, they did settle on that. So all of this was, yeah, there's always, we said possibility, there could be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
Well,
said, full, you know.
Buzz actually, Sarah did mention it, and Buzz says no one's acknowledging this kid's family is not involved so far. Yeah, and Sarah did mention, like, why isn't, the family saying anything, but we don't know. Maybe they are. It's just that they're not making it through, if that makes any sense. Maybe they're doing, you know,
Okay,
talk,
that's
getting interviewed, but they just don't make it out, if that makes any sense. Um, Ted says, I'm sure the Philippines has a modern DNA quick testing.
yeah, but even if they did, I don't think they'll announce it anytime soon. Because that's just a bad look if that really was him dumped out there afterwards. But everybody kind of speculated in the end if he does. I just don't think they're going to dig a hole and put him in there, and I don't think they're going to return him to the back over there and give it to him. That would be where he would end up. Yes, a lot of people said he'd be fishing. He'd be. Yeah, it was said that's how it was going to happen. Still see if you're still in the house. Welcome as a subscriber from Toronto, Canada. Michael Music Demotion is in the house. Hey, hey. And always, as always, big shout out to our Patreon and to our core audience and moderators.
Sorry, Streak, you made me chuckle.
Because I said becoming Muslim, yeah.
Yeah, Streak says, is Ricky going to convert for his new Becoming Muslim channel?
Never know.
You're funny. It's hilarious, Streak.
And nothing wrong if he did either. Maybe take him to the Greek or something. Maybe turn him Greek. Interesting. He said he went to Liberia for his sister's wedding. Okay, then that would, again, that's a lot of footage, and we've been trying to go through it. So that's what somebody said. It was over his sister's wedding. Huh. He did have a suit at one point, but
Streak says, best advice is not to get kidnapped. Don't do an Elliot sequel channel. Second one says, I'm proud to be American, or at least I know I'm not free. I pay a lot of taxes. New song title. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of went from the bottom and up already. You're probably not going to see the photos. So they've removed a lot of them. The footage link is in our previous live stream inside the description.
Salem says, pre-colonial Philippines was predominantly Muslims, and this is why most of us are circumcised. No, no, that's why I said it. That's why when the Spaniards come in, they mostly dominated the northern islands. That's why they're mostly the Christians and Catholics are further north, much north than south, because there's more resistance in the south. Correct. Um,
Yeah, he said Muslims 12 years old or legal mostly happen in the rural area. I said where it becomes kind of blurry is, I guess, the laws apply regardless. We said that to the expats, so. But where I wouldn't know is what do we know when it comes to the Islamic law? If you claim to be Islamic, I guess the hardcore law still applies. So
David Z says she turned 18 on September 30, 2024. Oh wait,
okay,
I did see. I remember did seeing it.
there is other
Oh
stuff.
right,
I've
right,
read
right,
all
right.
kinds
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
stuff, but I'm not going to go in there and say, hey, he is 100%. If indications are there of what we're seeing, then that would indicate that it's possible that he was with a person that was underage. But again, we do not have a birth certificate. I'm not going to sit there like what happened with what's his name, and he was flat out grilled and told. We're not trying to start a what do you call that, a riot in regards to. I'm telling you, when it comes to Islamic situations, you can't put a handle on none of that. But could it have upset some people if it was over there? Yeah, anything's a possibility. Not everybody over there's Muslim. They said that. So
Yeah. Michael John says I'll stick with Luzon or somewhere more north of the red zone. See, that's what I mean. You can always, if you're really in love with a girl, you can. The girl is not like bolted down on that area. You can move. You know. Um,
mm,
you're not required to get travel insurance in order to enter the Philippines.
yeah, that's something. Somebody there was a conversation going back and forth. They said during the pandemic, but no, that's all totally been released as of right now. So I'm still stuck on that. No,
Mm, yeah, I don't know, LG. We'd probably still call him young. Would you guys call him young if he was a mass murderer? Murderer 26 isn't young. It is, but it's not.
the wife appears to be really young. Him at 26. That's what I was trying to say because somebody was saying over and over again that he was young and super naive, and I'm like, I think at 26 he's it's not as, but it's young enough when I consider everything I've been through. But no, even if they were 15 and that happened, I wouldn't see him as, it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind
I
of.
never thought about that, Benjamin, but that's probably true. Benjamin says he's talking about life insurance.
Oh, they
Life
wouldn't.
insurance won't pay out if you're in go to a region that has a travel advisory. Something to be aware of. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I mean, it probably is very true. I mean, it makes sense. It's like, huh, never thought about that.
Yeah, no, that would.
Hey, Alex Bun, how you doing? Alex is
Hey,
here.
what is
Good
going
morning
on?
from Thailand. This story has too many rumors flying around.
Yep.
I'm not surprised. Yeah. And again, guys, we appreciate you so much. The storm sounds like. I mean, the window's closed. I can't see outside. Um, sounds like the storm has died down in our area for now. In certain areas, again, it's been flooded. The waters have reached rooftops, literally.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot of things going on
yeah,
here, and we pray
so
for people's safety for
correct.
sure. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, hopefully again that our gentleman friend, hopefully he's okay. Although again, as a general rule, after 48 hours, if there's no proof of life within 48 hours, it does not look good.
And that type of injury, there's no way with what was on the floor. I didn't see the photos until today. It was on the news. Because I asked somebody yesterday where they seen those photos. I only knew there was literally a cordon off area with driftwood out front, and I seen. I was like, yeah, maybe not, but with what was inside, and there was that much standing out in the sand. If that is his, more than likely, you know, it's not good for him. But there's always a chance. There's always
No, there's
a
always a
miracle
chance.
chance
Yeah, I
for
mean,
sure. Yeah.
but again, our combat veteran friends again tell us like, in all likelihood, if he was shot in the leg, again, 48-hour rule, it just doesn't look good. That's all. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it just doesn't look good. Simon says, "See you all Saturday. Take
Yeah,
care.
that'll be our
Have a
next
nice
live
day.
stream.
Good night. Thank you for."
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
no,
we're
we
not going
can't
over
reply to everybody. I unfortunately had to skip through a lot. There are a lot of comments today.
Yeah, I mean,
And I couldn't go through all of them. Sorry.
actually, let me see if I can. Let's see, where are you at there? I can pull up just for you.
Yeah. Andy Gut says, no medical attention to. Yeah, that's another thing. Usually when people drag you in the middle of the night and, pew pew your leg, in all probability, they don't care to give you medical attention. Usually they don't care. So,
All right, so here's the thing. If you're talking about the comments, I'm looking at your information. We haven't been through the comments on our channel. We don't sit there and just like answer as soon as things come up. And we have had somebody help us go through our comments on the occasion and emails and stuff. But his seems to be, I don't see.
yeah, I mean, there's, again, some of you think we're ignoring.
Okay, yeah,
Unfortunately,
he has
I had to skip a lot
He has
today.
one comment earlier up at 11:15. Moving north does not stop things. The Italian a few years back in Dipolog, a year later, Maori took over Davao many times, on and off. That's
And
what he
I did
said.
say that, again, the red zones are, again, I said organic. They grow bigger, they grow smaller. And this is because
No, and you
people
could be
move.
taken here. People are taken. There's
Right.
a bunch of people taken in Manila. We're saying it is very well possible to be taken here too. Never take anything lightly. Like I said, there's more kidnappings and disappearings in the U.S. than there are here.
Yeah.
Just sometimes they just don't end up as pretty. So.
And again, like I said, not everybody, I mean, people move. I mean, bad people move, good people move. And that's why I clearly stated again, if the locals actually warn you, that's your sign.
And
Get
he was
the F out.
he really was, and yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael Onset, for your support. Thank you, Ted, for being with us, and Sarah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your support.
And we will see you guys. We'll see you guys soon.
Yeah. Seeing it's raining in Manila.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you so much, Brian, for being with us too today.
All right. See you guys
All right.
later.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.